Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the InGear Motorsport live stream. I'm Mackenzie, and Charlotte's joining me here in the commentary box tonight for our brand new GT3 Euro Sprint Series. It's been a few weeks since you last saw us at Imola, but the drivers are back for a brand new championship, and we're starting at one of the world's most famous tracks, if not the most famous track, Spa Francorchamps. Charlotte, how are you feeling about tonight then?
No, but the drivers I'm looking forward to it. We've got some new drivers, some new teams, one of the best tracks to start off with. So yeah, looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good.
Obviously, we've been lucky enough to actually race around here in the real world. So why don't you tell us a bit about what it's like to race around this track in the real world? Is it as good, in your opinion, as what everyone hypes it up to be?
I'm probably going to be a bit controversial here. It definitely is like an amazing track. Like, it's old school, isn't it? And it's, I think, just to be around it and as a place is such a special place to be at. But yeah, it's exciting. It's just so challenging. I think you either get on with it or you don't you? I think that's. What about yourself though? Because obviously you've raced there as well.
Yeah, so. I'm not one for just jumping on like trends with things. If everyone says it's great, I kind of almost would be tempted to go the other way unless I really think so. And I do think it is awesome to drive in the real world. It's a mega track. There is probably nothing else quite like it. So yeah, really cool place. Even in the virtual world as well. We did a practice race here last week and I joined in with the guys for the first time in a little while actually, that I got to actually drive myself, which was good fun. But anyway, if you're watching along tonight, do say hello in chat. Charlotte's got her iPad down here. She can see any comments that come through.
I'm on my phone actually. The server's already full. So one of our regulars can't get in. So
who is it?
It's Kirk. So we're gonna have to kick someone, I think, to get them in. So
race director Ben's going to have to make a decision for which member of the public gets the boot. If you do want to join our races, then you can just get involved and come and join. And if you join our Discord and register, you then essentially get added to the whitelist. So you're kind of whitelisted for the server. You can join in without having to worry about Ben Meikle kicking you out like he's doing to some poor pub that's just found our server right now.
We've actually just had someone else message us on YouTube, so I know you're going to talk about where we're streaming that at a minute. But is that Logan?
No, that's Billingham.
Oh, I can.
Atoms Music, yeah.
What's
he say? I can't see it.
Yeah, so Ben, open that can of Monster nice and early. He can't get his teammate can't get in at the moment because the server's full. So Spa Tuesday night lockdown 3.0 is serving quite popular at the moment, so it's a good sign though.
Yeah, so I think the rule from what I'm hearing is anyone with a high ping gets kicked out for making space, but that's good. You know, I remember doing this you know, just under a year ago, sort of 9-10 months, and we were looking to fill the rooms, and we had 5 or 6 drivers, and then we would kind of fill up as we went. So the fact we're starting full is awesome progress. So thanks for everyone that kind of joins and follows and shares on socials and everything. So I guess that's all what's helping it grow. But what I was going to say, and I see Paulina did say hello, if there's any of the regulars coming back to watch, let us know how you are, what you've been up to, and we'll get through the comments as we go through. We want the chat going just as busy as the track. But let's just go through timings with you, because we tend to sit out most of the first part of the first qualifying session while we do this and say hello, and then we'll be jumping into the end of qualifying very shortly. So you can watch that live. So that's what you can see going on in the small window on the side at the moment. We'll then go into the first of our 2 30-minute races tonight. Now, this is a championship. So these are point scoring races. There's 4 tracks and 2 races at most of them, and then a 90-minute final race, which we'll have in about a month and a bit's time. So 1 race every other week at the moment. So if you enjoyed tonight, come back in 2 Tuesdays' time, because we'll be back for more. Yeah, so as you can see, it's two races, and the whole thing usually finishes up around about 9:30 p.m. But one thing I want to make everyone aware of, during race 2, you can vote for your favourite driver or the driver of the day, and the driver with the most votes will get an additional championship point towards their tally. So you'll be able to influence that just by literally typing their name in the chat boxes throughout race 2. So do feel free to get involved in that. It'd be good to see. And any other questions and things as we go through the race as well, of course, just let us know. But it's looking nice and busy, so I think we'll go to full screen qualifying while our race director's trying to work in the background. So
yeah,
that should happen for you any minute.
Probably worth introducing it. So we've got Ben Meekle in the background as race director and looking after all the camera angles as usual. So he's back, and we've also got George back as well this evening, which is always really handy because there's a lot going on in the background. Gives us a chance to investigate some. Hopefully there's not going to be too many instances, but if there are any accidents or anything like that, it gives us an opportunity to go and replay them and maybe try and sort it out what's going on. George is already busy responding to people on YouTube and things like that to get our regulars in and people that have actually signed up for the championship.
Just goes to show, get on early if you're going to come race.
And sign up for the championship. So if you are thinking about doing it and you think, oh, just jump in on night, sign up, because then it does give you, it basically gives you the power to ask us to say to someone to kick someone out who's maybe just, you know, a pubber or a non-regular as such that's coming into it, which is what we're having this evening. It'll be interesting to see how many we end the races with, though.
Yeah, always an interesting one, that, isn't it? We've got a couple new teams joining this time as well, so I thought I'd just run through that. Billingham has raced with us before, but he's back, and I see that his YouTube channel at least has commented. I don't know if that's actually him while driving, well, trying to get into the server at the same time. And Shane Sheldon has also joined him, so numbers 44 and 144. Can guess who their favourite driver on the Formula 1 grid is with that. And then Curran has teamed up with Bjorkman from our previous series as well, so we've got that to look forward to.
Such a strong pairing.
Good point scorers.
Just to put it out there, though, such a strong pairing. So really nice to see that they've come together.
Yeah, and I don't know if we switched into the in-game view for the stream yet, because we were sorting stuff out at the back end. Do we know if everyone watching can see the game at the moment?
Yeah, everyone can see the game. We're off camera.
Cool. So that is actually one of the Spearhead racing cars on your screen at the moment. The black Lexus with the sort of gold writing livery. That is Team Spearhead, which is made up of Curran and Bjorkman. And then there was 2 late additions that have joined as well. One of which is on the screen. Matt Mitchell. Sorry, so yeah, he joined in late last minute, and then we also had Bedoya has returned as well for not part of a team, but yeah, so we've got a few members of Team Spearhead, which is great, and then we've got the other new team, which is Astronia Racing, which is Billingham and Shane. So again, 2 new guys over there. So lots to look forward to, but I guess we'd better start taking note of actually what's going on in quali at the moment, shouldn't we?
Yeah, and just to say hi to people that have messaged us on YouTube. We're all over the place, aren't we? YouTube,
Twitch and Facebook.
Paulina, she's back again. always loyal, part of the girlfriend club that we're in.
One of the originals.
One of the originals, the OGs of it. Ian's watching as well, so Ian's been doing quite a bit of testing with you guys. He's done a race, hasn't he? He's done a race and a bit of testing and stuff.
Yeah, he raced last week.
So
he joined the fun race.
Hi, Ian.
Hopefully we'll see him on the track for the live stream races soon as well. But okay, well, we have 2 minutes 40 seconds of qualifying left. Drivers do get to finish their fastest lap as long as they start it before the timer reaches 0. So it can go on a tiny bit beyond that. But currently, provisional pole position is Chrissy Palmer in the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo. He's decided to stick with that car after the Italian series, but I am just seeing Bjorkman has gone purple in sector 1 and 3, so he's literally about to post another lap, and he's only a 10th off as it is. So, in fact, it's all sector 2 that Chris is faster at the moment, looking at the timing screens. Dominic Stallman then, previous championship winner in fact, all the series we've done so far, but he had to really fight for it in the last one.
Yeah, I think the first few were not, I mean, easy is probably the wrong word, but they were certainly easier for him to get. But the last couple, he's really had to work towards now, which has been good. I think Chrissy's had a little bit of bad luck, hasn't he? I think there's been a few drivers actually that have had a bit of bad luck. It's just how it goes, isn't it? Yeah,
definitely. It just depends, doesn't it, on a number of different things, but that's racing. Trying to see what other names we have back here with us. I'm just trying to go through in my commentary box screen and figure out who's where on the track. And we'll also try and get on board with Chrissy, I think, and see it from a driver's eye view. I can see we're following on the cameras at the moment, so if I could just request that our race director put us in the cockpit of that Ferrari. There we go. He's done it. Thank you very much. And do you know what? I'm going to say I did that deliberately, but I didn't. But he's just crossed the start-finish line into turn 1 at the source hairpin.
I always find it really strange to see
every time
InGear livery on a Ferrari. So yeah, commentators Kerr's working at his finest now. This usually happens during qualifying. That's why we talk a lot through qualifying, because every time we jump on and do an on board with someone, they tend to either spin or just pull over and go again. So
Dominic Stallman's rounding off his lap, so if we are on board with him now, which is good. Currently P3, not looking like he's going to go faster this time, because if you look in the top left, you can see there's a red 1.2. That means he's 1.2 seconds slower on his delta, so essentially off his best lap. Comes into the bus stop chicane, heavy braking to round off his lap, and he will be able to go again if he wants to. But in true live stream fashion, every car we go onto makes its way to the pits. So Dominic Stallman not going to go better.
That was a pretty spicy pit lane entry there, wasn't it?
If he's planning an impromptu
I was going to say, there would be a marshal there, proper going at him to get the speed down going into there in real life. So yeah. Who else?
So we're on board with Bedoya now then at the moment, who's just gone through Eau Rouge. I'll just pick him up on my back end cameras for everyone, and then we can go through the rest of the lap with you. If you have any questions while we're watching tonight, then do shout and we can do our best to answer them. Pauline has not been feeling too well. She's just had a nap.
Yeah,
nice.
extra round of quotes for you for signing in, Pauline. I hope you feel better soon.
Okay, right, well, we've just gone through Lacombe.
So I guess that does answer our question then, because we wasn't too sure if we was going to have any cheap garage guys in this series. So we've got Danny Price back. He's currently running in 15th at the moment. So
yeah,
BMW as well. That's
I think
strange, isn't it, when you see teams in cars that you're just not used to?
And Neil's gone for the BMW as well. So we've got Neil, who is part of Sheba Garage in the BMW, because we are allowing them to have different cars now, just because there's a few people that wanted to do that. So Danny Price and Neil Kidd at different ends of the grid at the moment, but mostly because Neil Kidd hasn't posted a lap time. Neither has Heath, but he has made it in, so that's good. I can see Billingham is there as well, so that's also good news. There's a couple slots available for others to join. So I think everyone's kind of made their way in time, which is looking good. And it's just as well because qualifying is coming to an end. You can see then Bedoya had invalidated that lap who we're riding on board with, which means he doesn't get to finish it. But there is a number of drivers still finishing their laps at the moment. But we will come back and see what the aftermath of the full qualifying roundup is in a few moments' time. Hello everybody then, welcome to the first race of our GT3 Euro Sprint Championship. The drivers are on the grid after what felt like a very fast qualifying session, didn't it? We're already on the grid ready to rock and roll. But you can see then the orange InGear Motorsport car is starting in the best possible place in pole position with Chrissy Palmer. I know he was on testing yesterday trying to get himself comfortable with that car. He nearly went with the AMG, but he's stuck with the Ferrari, so it's worked well. Bjorkman then, the flying Swedish driver and part of the new Spearhead race engineering team, is on P2. Dominic Stallman is just behind that. We've got Schmidt-Line behind that. Keefy for West Midlands Racing for fifth. That's a good little position there.
Last minute lap.
Yep, and then we've got Curran behind him, V behind him, who we've seen before but has never actually officially entered our series. Mitchell for Estonia Racing, which is good to see, has come in there. In fact, no, sorry, he's in the upper Spearhead race engineering car, isn't he?
Yeah.
Delacour after that, Roland Stallman after that, Lippmann after that, Millier in 12th, Price in 13th, Bedoya, who's returned to the series, in 14th, Rundberg in 15th, Goose in 16th, Setti 17th. A nice German name there that my German pronunciation is not good at. Schusk in 18th, Sharman in 19th. Good to see you again, Sharman made it back. Kaufmer in 20th, and then it goes a bit pixelated for me on my screen over here for that, Charlotte. Maybe you can see. Kalmer, Neil Kidd in 21st as well. And then you can see Billingham's a little bit further below that on the grid. But let me see if I can get this back up in the background.
Yeah, so we've got Billingham 24th, 25th Sheldon, Murray's down in 26th, well out of position for Murray there, so expect him to be
he must have just made it.
Yeah,
Murray just made it last minute, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, right, well, it looks like the drivers are making their way off for the formation period. You only get literally one corner to warm tyres and brakes. You can't really do too much weaving in this time, but nice to see a big full grid of cars out here at the moment, so that's good stuff. Getting ready to go any second. So, Chrissy Palmer in the orange InGear Motorsport car, currently on the right-hand side of your screens, and then alongside him, Bjorkman, Stallman behind that in the white Porsche with the Vega Sim Performance car, and alongside him, Schmidt-Line. Who is it going to be heading into Eau Rouge? Will they all make it through? It's not an easy corner to get multiple cars through in one go. Lights are out and we're off then at Spa Francorchamps. Bjorkman gets a blinding start and Stallman even has a bit of a look at challenging on Chrissy there as well, but they hurtle up the hill, managing to make it through so far. Stallman has to use a good amount of the inside curbing there. Looks like the rest of the pack's not looking too bad either as they begin the long run down the straight here, heading into the next heavy braking zone. It's two abreast between Stallman and Chrissy. Bjorkman has actually got himself a bit of a gap through that strong start that he got there. Chrissy will not want to be letting Stallman come through there, but it's very hard to get them stopped because it looks like Heath comes in at a fair old pace in the back of that little pack there. Schmidt-Line gets past Chrissy as well after Stallman did there. I didn't quite make out if there was any contact with that or whether that was just a good move from Dom. Maybe a little bit of touching there, but it is very, very hard not to between that right and left section of the circuit. Drop down into the off-camber right-hand hairpin, drops downhill. Really, really hard corner to get the car stopped and turned for that. But really one of the best starts you could have asked for Bjorkman there. So we will be able to actually offer some replays and that side of things tonight as well, which we should be able to get in the very near future of the start, particularly that incident with Stallman versus Chrissy. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for that. But you can see then Chrissy's still having a bit of a tough time trying to get himself settled in that orange Ferrari. But a bit further down, there's a scrap between Curran and Heath just behind him, it looks like. I'm trying to sort my nice pixelated live stream out in the commentary box here. One moment and then we'll be with you. So good stuff. Right, I can kind of get a bit more of an idea now. So Bjorkman's got himself a 1.5 second lead as he comes to the end of that opening lap, which is a pretty strong opening there.
Now, was that a strong start by him or did he catch Chrissy napping?
I think Heath just lost it and went into the wall, but it's hard to tell which driver that was. If one of the guys could let me know in my ear. Do we know if Heath's just gone or was that somebody else? As we just see an AMG of, yeah, that was Heath, I think. So Heath got caught up with an AMG as well in the background of that. I'm just watching on two different screens here, trying to catch everything that's going on. So you can see then at the minute, Curran on your screens hurtles through, hanging on to 5th place in Spearhead Race Engineering's car. Looking good for him. Good points for them so far, because you've got the Spearhead cars 1st and 5th at the moment, whereas you've got Vegas Sim Performance running in 2nd with Dominic Stallman, and then a bit further down we have Roland Stallman, who actually I can't see on the timing screen now. So again, there's a few first lap incidents I think we're going to have to get investigated by the stewards in the background. Luckily, we can get replays brought up on that stuff. So, Charlotte, what's it take to nail an opening sort of few laps around here? What sort of things are you thinking about?
I think it's very difficult. It depends which position you're in. I think it's much easier to chase than be chased around this circuit. It's such a full-on circuit. It's fast flowing, but then it's got really, really heavy braking zones as well. So you've got to take all of that into consideration. Having your tyre pressures set correctly is always important, but I think this is a track as well that it's crucial on. And I'm not too sure what the weather's got in store for us there. I mean, it's looking pretty steady Eddie and kind of okay this evening, but it does kind of have its little microclimate here, so you can be at one part of the track and it kind of be sunny, dry, and then you get onto the other part of the circuit and it's, you know, it's almost like you're in a different country. So just making sure that you've got the car set up comfortably so that you can settle in on those opening laps, get your rhythm, try and break away as well, because you really want to, you don't, if you're being chased, you want to get away straight away, but you don't want really anyone sort of catching your toe, because you have got these long, fast straights everywhere. So it gives you such an advantage if you are sat in someone's toe. So just looking here at Danny Price, loving their livery. It looks absolutely awesome. So he's moved up a little bit in the order. So he's moved up to P7. So it's definitely been quite a shift about on that opening lap, hasn't there? There's been quite a lot that's happened. Are we thinking that it was Heath and Chrissy Palmer that got tangled together? Because Chrissy's dropped way back as well, looking at our very pixelated screen, our side.
Sorry, I just saw Danny Price goes facing the wrong way there, and a couple of cars have to go avoid him. I think Murray was one of those that had to avoid him. That was very close to being a massive incident. Bit of damage, I think, for a couple of them, but they kind of got going again as I see the accident kind of went a bit further up the road looking at it. So there was quite a few issues there. That resulted in that was Price that lost it first, and then the other cars kind of had nowhere to go and panicked. But sorry, I missed the start of the question there because I just got a bit excited watching what happened between them guys.
I'm not gonna lie, I've forgotten what the question is because I'm wondering what else is going on. There's so much going on here. We've got, how many screens have we got now going? We've got 4 screens, about 5 different camera views going on, and we're talking to the guys in the background. So there's a lot that's happened on this opening lap that we're just trying to establish what's happened. I think going back to my original point that I've just remembered, was it Heath and Chrissy that got tangled up? Because Chrissy had a little bit of a nightmare on those opening corners. You know, he got bumped straight down by Bjorkman, then Stallman, then Heath. Heath and Chrissy are 2 quite aggressive drivers to put next to one another. So I think something's happened along there. I think Chrissy got beaten up a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
He's had a little bit of a tough time. And like you say, Chrissy has been testing on here quite a bit. You guys all did a practice race last week. Was it like this? Was there as much carnage last week?
No, it did. It kind of settled down quite quickly as Danny Price is recovering from his 17th place there. You see the car going up the inside.
That was commentators cursed by me then, wasn't it? It's
just as we switched to it, wasn't it? Yeah.
Always the way.
But yeah, great little fight going on down here. You've got Heath number 38 in the Aston Martin, who's also followed Danny Price through there on the Ferrari of Kaufmer. So they've made their way back through that, and Heath actually looking like he fancies a bit of a go at Danny Price there as they begin their run back down to round off another lap here. Yeah, and actually Danny Price says, I'm not going to fight you too hard on that one. You go for it. I wouldn't be surprised if Danny picked up a little bit of damage on that incident at the top of Eau Rouge there, whereas I think Heath done okay from when he had that little bit earlier on because he just more of a spin.
Danny's quite a clever driver as well. He knows when to just hang on and latch onto the back of someone and almost let them kind of carry them through. Let Heath almost do that hard work of getting the gap and then just take full advantage of it, especially if he is suffering with a little bit of damage, like you say. But Heath is looking fast, isn't he? I mean, he come into the server very late, didn't have a lap on the board when we come out of qualifying from what we could see our end, and then straight away, you know, 5th position on what is a very strong competitive grid this evening.
Yeah, a lot of fast drivers, a lot of people that have been getting faster and faster over time. If we go a bit further up to Roland Stallman, you can see him having a little bit of a scrap with one of the other new drivers of Mitchell. So Mitchell then number 14 and Roland Stallman in the Porsche number 5 on your screens at the moment. You can see going through. They were getting closer and closer, but Roland Stallman's also racing for Vegas Sim Performance alongside Dom Stallman, so father and son team, which is cool. And they've been with us for quite some time now, in a number of the different series. But whatever happened again with that Chrissy and Heath incident has left Curran running in 3rd place and Bjorkman for Spearhead Race Engineering in 1st place. So a really strong points haul for them guys. Another thing to bear in mind is there is success ballast for these drivers. So moving into race 2, the top 3 will essentially have some extra weight added to their car. Nothing too major, but enough to make a difference, certainly for the winner. There'll be 15 kilograms added. Then you move on to 10 kilograms for P2 and 5 kilograms for P3, just to try and slow down those fastest cars a little bit as they progress. But it does stack up from one race to the next, which is also another interesting aspect. So if they keep winning, they essentially keep getting more and more weight up until 50 kilograms max.
Yeah, and Curran's actually in quite a lonely 3rd place here, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So he just needs a clean race to get some points on the board. That AMG that he just overtook there of Lippmann, we're going to go with there. That was a back marker there, so just did the right thing, kind of moved out of the way and has let Curran go through.
Yeah, but it's Roland Stallman on your screens at the moment, heading into turn 1 at the hairpin. And he's chasing down Mitchell, so that little bit of action was going on just behind us. So let's see what's happening then as another driver's just coming out the pitch, which is Goose in another BMW there. You might have just caught that at the side of the camera angle. But we'll try and ride on board then with Roland Stallman, shall we? Because we didn't get to see much of the track from driver's eye view, and he's chasing somebody down at the moment. I think Chrissy Palmer will be an interesting one to see as well, because he's got some serious recovery to do. Just coming out of the pits at the moment. I don't know whether he had to do a little pit stop before or not. But we'll come back to Chrissy later on, I think. Neil Kidd up into 9th and Murray up into 8th after some of those incidents we saw earlier on. That's a nice strong recovery. But sticking with Roland Stallman for the moment then, we will see then we're coming down into that off-camber right-hand hairpin. Real tricky one for the drivers to manage, trying to catch Mitchell up ahead. Cool, right, so we just heard that, yeah, Chrissy did get caught up in a big incident, which we kind of saw bits of between some of the camera angles we had here. Like I say, I had some technical issues earlier, so
was it self-inflicted, George, or was it a bit of a scrap?
Well, we've got a replay ready to go on the live stream, so we can play that for you now, and then we can all see it for ourselves. So we should be able to switch that any second. Right, so Chrissy in that replay has a different livery on as well. He's actually a red car there, but we know he's the orange car in the actual live version. If you're wondering what's going on there, yeah, he just kind of run out of space, didn't he? Lost the rear end a little bit, had a bit of oversteer, had that incident with Dom, and then it just put him into the battle zone the whole way then, didn't it? So that doesn't look like the actual crash. That's just
the initial. That's quite an aggressive move by Dom.
Yeah.
Quite, that. In all honesty, if that was a pubber coming in and doing something like that, I think there'd be quite a bit of kicking and screaming going on there. I think not Dom's normal style.
Yeah, it was a bit harder than normal. I think he probably knew he needed to get away, because in the practice race, Bjorkman was so fast that even the super speedy Dominic Stallman couldn't reel him in. So he knew that he probably needed to get away with him. But yeah, really good race for Spearhead Engineering at the moment. How are we doing in chat? Anyone got any comments for us? Any thoughts so far? Let us know. And don't forget, you'll be able to vote for Driver of the Day as we enter into race 2 as well. So we'll find the hopefully the crash replay very soon where he actually picked up the main damage, but we shall see.
Yep, so we've had a question come through then. So can you pick a car for each track in the championship? And the answer to that, no, you've got to stick. One driver has got to stick with one car throughout, because otherwise we all know that there's stronger cars on stronger tracks, isn't there?
Yeah.
And it's that mix and match, so you technically could run a different car in every race. Kind of goes a little bit like karting, I guess, if we relate it back to that. When you're racing at karting at a high level, you had sort of a top end engine, a middle and a bottom end, and you would change your engines depending on what track you're on. Not so easy to do that in a car though, is it?
No, definitely. And it's
expected nothing karting, let alone car.
It's interesting as well because a lot of the guys do jump around from car to car, even from one championship to the next. Whereas in the real world, you at least do a year with someone, don't you, before you move on most of the time. So they're quite used to hopping in and out of different cars. But right, where are we at now then? We're looking at David Murray, number 7, one of the Sheba Garage drivers, joined in last minute. Now, as far as I remember, he was 24th on the grid and he's up into 7th. So a really strong race for Murray there in the Lexus. And I know he likes the Lexus. He's been doing a few races in that lately in other stuff. So good going by him. Fairly strong race to get himself up into 7th. Let's see who else we've got out of the normal crew at the minute. So Bjorkman still leads as we're approaching half race distance. Dominic Stallman in 2nd by 1.8 seconds. So he'll be looking to bring that down. Curran is in 3rd. Mitchell, again, for his debut race with us, is doing extremely well in 4th at the moment. So well done to him. Roland Stallman in 5th. Denise in 6th. Murray is in 7th. As I say, that's a massively good effort. Neil Kidd in 9th. And then we've got Shushk in 10th. Price up into 11th. So Danny actually had a bit of an issue early on, didn't he, where we saw at top of Eau Rouge, and he's still 1 off of point scoring at the moment, which is good.
Yeah, he'll be looking to make a move as quickly as he can to get into those points.
Sharman in 13th is only a couple points away from places away from points there as well for him, which is great to see. Schmitterlein is another really fast driver out of position at the moment, running in 14th. Bedoya is down in 15th, and then we've got Goose, Billingham, Heath, Sheldon, who's also news. Sheldon is the other Estonia racing driver, down in 19th at the moment, and then Reinberg and Chrissy Palmer, who I think may have retired or has had a seriously long pit stop. Oh, he's still going. Yeah, he's back out. So he must have had a lot of damage earlier on. I imagine he'll probably be seeing red under that cockpit at the moment.
He will be needing a green tea to chill himself out right now.
Yeah. So I'm just having a little bit of a look to see what sort of gaps are on. It still looks like Roland Stallman's going to be chasing down Mitchell. So perhaps we jump ourselves up to that, shall we, everyone? And then when we get a bit of time for it, we'll do a lap with Chrissy and see how angry he's driving. Because Roland Stallman looks like he's going to be popping a move on very, very soon. So if we could just jump up to that on the live stream. There we go. Thank you.
Oh,
up to the inside there.
Just in time.
Yeah. Doesn't quite manage to make that stick, though.
Yeah, Stallman's just going to be now trying to work out where Mitchell's weak spots are and just try and pounce on them pretty much where he can. He's put his nose in. Mitchell knows he's there. He knows he's now going to sit back lap after lap.
Did I just see that Billingham said his crew put wets on?
Oh dear. This always amazes me. How do you guys text each other or type to each other and drive and
when he stopped for the pit stop, he must have. I mean, I appreciate that he's actually took a few seconds out of his 30-second pit stop to come onto YouTube and sign in and quickly comment to us and let us know what happened.
That's commitment, isn't it?
So that's Billingham that's apparently started the race on wet. So he would have been doing a rain dance. I mean, normally Danny Price, when he's here, does like to just throw a bit of rain in last minute onto the server.
I think we should do a dry race and a wet race every single time.
It would be interesting, and at least everyone knows they've got a wet race to practice for.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have that luxury in the real world. So the drivers go through Eau Rouge then. Once again, you've got Stallman chasing down Mitchell in that spare car. Yeah, the Porsche quite nice and settled through there, isn't it? Two very strong cars, actually, overall. The Porsche is generally a very strong car. The Lexus is very, very good at Spa and a couple other select tracks since the latest updates of the game. Heavy on the braking and nice tidy lines for both of them, just clipping the curbs to help the cars rotate through the corners there. Roland looks like I think he might have a bit more pace over a whole lap, but in terms of can he do anything to actually get past, it's not going to be easy at all, is it?
Mitchell isn't even driving too defensively. That's the thing. There's a big enough gap at the moment that if Stallman was to make a move, it'd probably be a bit of a silly one. It would be a late minute lunge going in. I don't know if these two have raced against one another before and kind of know their style or not, but saying that, running a little bit wide there and just inside track limits, that was going to be a question too. Was track limits an issue last week on the practice race?
Yeah, it was. There's a few people that managed to pick up some penalties from going over track limits. It's easily done. I think you just have to get into the habit that, do you know, it's actually harder for drivers that have raced in the real world. I realised it last week because I quite often get close to the limit with it. Chrissy's had a couple incidents now, including last week, and Dan O'Brien, who joins us, who's raced in the real world, also has a lot of issues. And I think the reason being, and it sounds a bit bad, but I think as a driver, you know where the marshals are and where they're looking and which bits of track you may or may not be able to run a bit wider or cut a bit more of a corner and not ping a track limits warning, rightly or wrongly. Whereas in the game, it sees you everywhere, every single minute of every single lap or second. It knows exactly where you are. So, and it can even tell to the thousandth of a second whether you've gone faster or not because of what you did. So there's no hiding, and you get the penalties every time. But I think we're used to it a bit more, that you can have a bit of leeway, but you cannot in the game. So Rowan Stallman still starts another lap, comes into the hairpin, and is going to try once more to make his way past on Mitchell. Now, we've got that replay from the crash earlier on. Now, we watch it literally about 5 or 10 seconds behind in the commentary box for whatever reason, the way it comes through. But let's press play on that, and we can see Chrissy's incident from earlier on. And then Charlotte and I'll see what we think. Okay, yeah. Technical gremlins continue to come on tonight for whatever reason.
Cool. Well, we'll let the guys in the background work on that, because I definitely want to have a look at that and see what happened there. Because like I said, I think Chrissy got beaten up a little bit, and I think it just threw him off. I think that move by Dom threw him off. Then he got overtaken by Heath, so he dropped back from pole into P4 quite quickly, and something's happened there, whether it was picking up damage from Dom's earlier move, which then you could question, does that need to be looked into? But we'll see. We'll get that played back and we'll see what's happened.
Yeah, I can just talk about a little bit because I've had it here if we want quickly.
Okay, yeah.
Just sorry to cut you off, but just while I've got it. So he was going through a Rouge, and I can't tell, again, we've got slightly different liveries on the replays for some reason, but that's either Mitchell or Schmidt line. Has lost control of the car a little bit for a Rouge. Chrissy then had nowhere to go as they kind of wiggled around a bit and then ended up getting spun around and contact. So no fault of his own, but I'm sure he won't be very happy with that either.
No.
That is a racing incident. Okay, so we're still on board with Mitchell at the moment, and Roland Stallman has gone past. So perhaps if we could have a look at a different camera angle.
Shall we check in on what's going on at the very, very pointy end of the grid, and then let's drop it back and see what's going. We'll go from the start of the grid, and then we'll have a little look back down and see where Murray Kidd, Dan Price are as well.
Yeah, so look at that, 7th and 8th. You've got Kidd there and Murray right just on the bottom left of your screens watching there. 7th and 8th. Sheba Garage drivers, they always come in twos. We always say it. But yeah, Bjorkman's still out front. But like Charlotte says, let's jump to that sort of Murray Kidd area of the pack and see what's going on there.
Yeah, so just to quickly mention on the Bjorkman Stallman ongoing saga right at the very pointy end, you by this point in the race with 8 minutes to go, Stallman would now be seriously, I brought that gap back in, but it's actually increased only by a tenth, so it's literally nothing at all. But he's not managing to chip away at Bjorkman yet, so we'll keep an eye on that and on one of our camera views and see what's happening there and keep our eyes peeled for it if there is going to be a move in case we can catch it. But yeah, as you say, Sheba Garage guys are back together once again, like Noah's Ark, can't they? Come 2 by 2.
Yeah, it's always funny how that seems to happen. Kidd did nearly have Corsetti and a Lamborghini to deal with. I mean, that just sounds dangerous, doesn't it? Corsetti coming up behind you in a Lamborghini. Yeah, but we had grid full of Italian cars at the last few races, so it's nice to see that a few of them have continued with them. Chrissy, of course, in the Ferrari, but just at the wrong end of the grid at the moment. But yeah, that's a nice little battle. We'll see if that develops. We've still got 7.5 minutes to go, although the main part of the race has gone very fast so far. It looks like it has settled down enough now that we can kind of focus in on what's happening with some of these battles. Cool. So you're looking at the multicoloured BMW of Neil Kidd at the moment. Let's see what else we have going on around the field, though. And we've got a couple of cars coming quite close there. I just want to see if any of the main squad of drivers who enter are close to any action. Heath is down in 17th at the moment, trying to see if he can come back through. Bedoya also must have had a bit of an issue because he's back down in the 15th sort of mark. Cool. So Dominic Stallman has kind of sat around between 1.5 and just over 2 seconds gap as well to the lead the whole race. So Bjorkman's, done a sterling job so far. And in fact, I think if we're going to look at a driver's eye view of a whole lap, which I keep saying we're going to try and do, and then we don't get a full lap of it because something happens, let's jump on with Bjorkman and see what it looks like from his point of view, shall we?
Yeah, I think he'll be feeling pretty good at the moment, won't he?
Yeah, I should think so. He's coming up in a bit of traffic as well, although that is Schmidtline, who is actually very, very fast, but just had a really bad start to the race. So here we are, we're actually on helmet cam, so you can get a real kind of feeling of what it looks like at this driver's eye level. It looks like he's dancing the car through the corner there, didn't he? It was almost like floating through. I don't know if that was just the lag of the stream or actually what he's doing with it. Good effort there by Schmidtline on the blue flags, even though he's actually got some good pace, just lets Bjorkman come through nice and easily.
Yeah, I guess this is one of the differences to the game. So I'm watching this through a stream on Discord, and then Mackenzie's actually in the game, and that's where the differences are and what you guys can see. So we can't actually see in our bottom left-hand corner names coming up. So you might be seeing cars that are just appearing. They're now starting to be the people that are being lapped, so they'll be having blue flags waved to them. Most of the time people are pretty good, aren't they? They kind of get out of the way without interfering. I think this is a circuit where it's slightly easier to get out of the way for someone because you have got those long fast straights. Rouge is probably a bit of a more challenging one. You kind of just need to commit to it, don't you, when you go through?
Yeah, it's a hard one, that, and it's in the right conditions with the right fuel levels. It's a flat out corner. But if we come into the heaviest braking zone of the lap, then you're looking for that 150 board on the left, and then hard on the brakes all the way down to first gear, get the car stopped. You can actually see Schmidtline still sort of hanging on to the back of Bjorkman a little bit, even though he was just lapped, technically speaking, like Charlotte says. So not too far off the pace, and he was P4 on the grid, Schmidtline, so he's a good driver. He's just had that incident earlier on in the race he got caught up in. So I'd say that must have been him that had the incident at a Rouge that then cost Chrissy his problems. So in that case, we did have the right liveries. I think for the time being, it was just Mitchell's that, for whatever reason, we had errors with. But we're getting there. We're getting there, people. It's nearly a year of doing this, and we will get it at some point.
I think that's probably a well-noted point there, what you're talking about time as well. So, Sharman, Bjorkman's going to come up against Sharman relatively soon in the next, 30 seconds or so. I think it's looking like on your screen. You can see it slightly better.
Yeah.
Sharman's someone who's really stuck with it. He's got better and better and improving. And it is just time, isn't it? It's just putting laps and laps and laps in. Practice makes perfect. And even then, it's not perfect. I guess that's the way to describe it.
Well, I mean, I have this conversation with people all the time when it comes to this, but it's just laps. You could not beat time in the seat when it comes to trying to go faster in a race car. And you've got to think the guys that are at the front end of the sim racing world have been doing it for absolutely years, and then the guys at the front end of the real motorsport world have been doing it for years. So Charlotte and I can tell you, we both I started at 8 years old. Were you like 13? Something like that when you first started in karting? By the time you get into car racing, you've got 8 years worth of karting experience to nearly, give or take a few years, depending on the driver, under your belt to learn racecraft and all of that type of it. And then then suddenly there's a thing called downforce to think about. That takes another whole load of learning again. You see these massive rear wings that you've got on these cars as that BMW crosses through. They're not there for show. They really change how the car handles. You've got to get used to that. So there's so much that happens. You just got to put the laps in and learn, I guess. So like you say, the guys that are doing that are getting better all the time. But sadly, so are the people at the front of the grid. So it continues to get harder for them.
Yeah, sorry to cut in there, but this is actually looking like it's going to be a nice little scrap here. So we're currently watching Neil Kidd there in probably my favourite livery that we've had in this whole entire.
And I think it's not even a custom one.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. But he's got that Lamborghini from Corsetti. He's all over the back of him at the moment. He's making that Lambo even wider than what it already is.
And we've got Heath in the back of that.
I was just like, is that Heath that's kicking in as well?
Yeah, great little battle. So yeah, Heath's in the sort of purpley blue and white Aston Martin at the back of this little pack.
Now he's
been lapped.
Yeah, I was going to say he's not showing on our timing screen. Now this, and explain this kind of situation then, Mackenzie, because he's getting well involved in this battle, and he's a lap down.
So you are allowed to unlap yourself.
Yeah.
There's no rules to say that you can't overtake other drivers if you're unlapping yourself. Where it gets tricky is if he then starts to slow down again. You know, technically speaking, he could get the blue flags waved at him again and have to kind of yield. Mm-hmm. But a blue flag never actually means that you have to let a driver past. It just means you don't obstruct them, and it's on the driver overtaking. It's their responsibility to do it safely. So yeah.
I mean, what I would say here though is there's a minute left to go in the race. You're not going to unlap yourself, are you?
No.
And I think that's the point that I'm trying to get at here. If this was an hour and a half, 2 hour long race, then yeah, go for it, fill your boots kind of thing. But get involved. But what I'd say is this is a nice battle here between Kidd and Corsetti. You might want to make a wise decision.
I've also just noticed at the bottom there that Mr. Danny Price has collected himself a drive-through penalty. So naughty Danny Price, been cutting the track too much.
That's really unlike Danny.
I know.
That's so unlike Danny.
Having a bit of a disastrous race really between that incident at Eau Rouge and then now this drive-through issue. What I would say is that I know he's been playing other stuff a little bit lately, and he said to me earlier he's not been on as much. Neither's Neil, and you know that they've had a much harder time of it tonight. Neil's kind of come back through, but Danny's definitely struggled. It's just you got to, I guess, again, isn't it? It just shows how much the practice helps.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I think it shows consistency a little bit there.
He's faster than that.
Danny Price is without a doubt a fast driver. He's a consistent driver, as is Neil as well. Just looking here though, you can see that Heath is definitely pushing those boundaries. He's looking like he's going to try and make a move on the Lamborghini of Corsetti here as well.
Yeah, he's sat there primed and ready, isn't he? If he gets the opportunity, he's going to go for it.
Yeah, well, cool. And we're coming into the final lap now.
Yeah, so we'll have to be ready with Bjorkman in about a minute's time as he sort of rounds off his lap here. 2 minutes 20 seconds, the average sort of lap time around this circuit. The fastest are doing 2:17s or 2:18s, 5s as Kidd has to run wide there. That was very, very close. And now Heath kind of has no choice but get involved because he's going so much faster. Goes around the outside of Corsetti, gets the inside for the second part of the chicane. And Heath and Kidd are both regular drivers that race all the time. Corsetti doesn't. So Heath's actually done Kidd a bit of a favour there.
He has. You are correct. But I'm sat here feeling quite stressed watching this right now. For the sake of the Discord and our little nice community. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, no, we're all okay. Neil Kidd fights his way through and off he goes. Yeah, no, good. Right, Neil's looking good. And then the next car up the road is Murray. But let's get ourselves onto Bjorkman, shall we, and ride in car with him and experience the last part of the lap because he can't be far away. Yeah, he's just entering the third sector of the lap as he goes between this corner and the next. That is the final sector. Good sector to know what car's fast because you are now flat out for quite some time.
I mean, he's just looking at the time difference between him and Stormy. He's actually managed to double the time gap that there was previously. So it was around 1.6, 1.5 seconds gap, and it's now extending it to over 3 seconds. That's a solid effort around Spa, isn't it? He just was lit at the start and just got away, settled in. I don't think he pushed too hard in that middle bit. I think he managed his tyres, and then he's kind of extended the gap in the last couple of laps. Whether that was intentional or not, that's the way I would see that.
Quite possibly. But here we go then. Robert Bjorkman crosses the line and wins the opening round of the GT3 Euro Sprint Series at Spa Francorchamps. Great job for him. And that's also the debut race for the new team, Spearhead Race Engineering. So well done to them. Curran comes home in third. So that is a very good points haul for that team's first race. And he understandably is doing donuts off screen. But then Mitchell coming through the line now in fifth after Curran. So Curran's there. Roland Stallman after that. So Vegas Sim Performance and Spearhead Race Engineering, two very strong points.
It is on, isn't it? It is on.
Yeah. Good stuff. But yeah, I think you're right. That's a good effort by Mitchell, isn't it?
I mean, as well, if you has Sheba Garage actually entered this as a team into his championship? Because even that's a really strong, you know, a 7th and 8th. And
yeah, we kind of have a bit of a rule with them. If they're here, then they're entered.
Right. Okay.
So. And they have actually taken the same car this time, I think, other than Murray, who's gone for the Lexus. But you know, that's kind of what we're doing now. So, yeah, a few strong teams. Bit of a disaster for Chrissy Palmer, that one, wasn't it? So he'll be looking to try and make up for that in the next race for sure. But yeah, what a good race for them guys.
Yeah, hopefully, Bingham won't have wets put on to start his race off. Yeah, that was quite an opener, wasn't it? That was quite full on. Good to see some progression though. Liam Sharman, am I getting this correct here? Finished 12th. Is that one of his best finishes in a grid?
He's had points before,
but in a grid 10th. This size.
Yeah, quite possibly. That's a good effort by him.
Big size there.
Wow, very good. So just having a little bit of a look. So Price didn't end up in points after some of those disasters that he had, but not a bad result at all for him. Let me just pick up the rest of the finishing order then for everyone. We'll bring that up on screen for you so you can see the grid as it stands. But it does change a bit as they all come in the pits thanks to the way this game works. But yeah, so it was Bjorkman that won, Dominic Stallman in second, and Curran in third. So that means that Bjorkman will now be racing with 15 kilograms of ballast. Dominic Stallman will have 10, and Curran will have 5 for the next race. So that will slow them down a little bit.
Is that the first time in this championship where we've had the top 3 all be entered, people in it, therefore the ballast does go on? Because usually before we've had like a pubber that might come into the mix a little bit.
Maybe in the middle, yeah. No, I think we have had it before where it was like Chrissy, Stallman and Heath or something, or Curran it was at Bathurst or something like that. So that was a little while ago now. Blimey, yeah, Bathurst was a good few months back. But yeah, Roland Stallman in 4th, Mitchell in 5th, as we say, great result. Denise, who's a pubber, in 6th, Murray in 7th, Kidd was in 8th, Gorsetti was 9th, pushed Kidd quite a long way there towards the end, but couldn't make anything happen. Shushka stayed around. I do apologise if you speak German. That's terrible pronunciation, I'm sure. Good with some words, but I don't know that name at all. Kufmir in 11th, Sharman in 12th, Schmidtlein in 13th, Price in 14th, Bedoya in 15th, Goose in 16th, Heath in 17th, Reinberg in 18th, and Chrissy Palmer, the man who started pole, finishes way back down in 19th. And out of 28 cars that started, 19 finished. So let's just take a quick look at the timetable for you all before we start the next session. We'll have a bit of a quick sort of debrief, I guess, as to what just happened. See which drivers are available for a quick chat. A few of the guys are all in the Discord, which is nice to see as well. So we'll catch up with some of them. I might have a chat with Curran. He's always up for a bit of a chit chat in a minute. But you can see then we have another race coming up very, very shortly. So do stick around. If you want to put the kettle on and go away for 5 minutes and come back, you can. And then we'll be heading into qualifying. Or you can stick around and see what John I have to say. Yeah, not you. No, you have to stay here. Okay. And then heading into race 2 somewhere around 10 to 9 this evening. So just a quick recap. If you haven't heard already, you can vote for your favourite driver during race 2. So you give them a driver championship vote or point. So the winning driver gets a point. I was just trying to think if we saw Billingham in there in the order at the end. So I think we lost him somewhere.
Yeah. Who would be your driver of the day coming out of that first race?
I think I'd have to go to Bjorkman because he just got the lead at the start, put in some fast laps, bridged the gap, and then managed the gap, which also shows good pace for a driver. Yeah,
definitely. I think for me, Bjorkman, obviously, but also Murray. You know, I think he started last, didn't he? 24th, 25th, something like that. Way out of position, ended up in 6th. So, you know, he's come through the grid, which that wasn't an easy grid to come through. It was a competitive one. but also there was a lot of drama to avoid, wasn't there?
Yeah, he had to dodge a few things for sure, did Murray.
Getting through was hard enough, so yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is a strong result. I mean, even Kidd done well.
Yeah.
No real testing, coming quite late to do quali, and then got himself, what was that, 8th or something at the end, 7th or 8th. He came in at. So yeah, good strong result. I think, like we said though, that team championship already is looking good, isn't it? I'm excited to see where this goes. I know the Lexus and Bjorkman are very, very fast at this track, so it's quite likely then there'll be other tracks where they don't have quite that strength in the car, and maybe he doesn't know his way. He's always been fast. He's always a fast driver. But what I'm getting at is then Stallman might get better.
Very consistent, isn't he? I'm going to be interested to see. I think that is by far the most aggressive we've seen Dom ever race. Questionable, put it out there. Is that now the competition's really kind of hotting up? Is that going to be a new kind of driving style that we're going to see? Are we going to see a little bit? Because I don't think it was aggressive to the point it was out of order. I think it was just aggressive. It's no different to what you'd probably see.
Yeah.
Really, is that going to be a new way? Because if it is, it's going to be interesting, isn't it?
I mean, for opening laps, he normally is very reserved. Would rather give a place to then get it later because he knows he can go faster.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree. It was an interesting one to see. The nature of that corner where you sort of flick from right to left, though, it is quite a hard one to then get the car stopped and not clip anyone. And Chris just kind of ran out of space.
I was going to say, was it a case of kind of went for the move, would have backed out, but actually got forced into it in a way? So
yeah, quite possibly as well.
We'll see. I think Chris is more than able to handle, that. He might get his knickers in a twist every now and then about other things, but I think he'll be all right on this one.
I can see looking in the background, he's still in the Discord chat, so he's not left. He'll be back for more in a minute, which is good to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll maybe catch up with him after the next race. We'll see how we go. But I just see Warren had commented on YouTube as well. Unlucky son, but obviously Heath Senior there. Over on YouTube, so do comment and let us know what you think and how it's going so far. We can see comments across Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch in the background here on one of our screens. So yeah, drop a message. Let us know what you thought of the race. Who do you think is going to win race 2? Did you enjoy that? Anything at all? I mean, people literally share cheesy jokes, all sorts of stuff. So get involved on the chat, people, if you're watching. Now, let me see then if Michael Curran is available for a quick chat. So I'm going to pull him up. Here we go. Michael Curran, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, do you know I've got that weird echo again? I can just about make out what you're saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it's where Charlotte's microphone's on as well. If she mutes herself, which she's about to do, then that should be a bit better for you now.
You wish I could do that in the real world.
That's great.
Yeah. I don't hear that. She said, you wish you could do that in the real world. Not at all. Yeah, how was that race for you?
Yeah, well, it was the first few laps were eventful. First, I saw Kirk spinning in front of me at the fast kind of near the corner, but the fast right-hander before you head up towards the bus stop, and I just managed to squeeze past him before he went into the wall. And then Chrissy get taken out at Top of Rouge, so next thing I know I'm sitting in third, and it was a quiet rest of the race. I just sat there and managed to get round.
Yeah, we were just saying as well, I mean, that first lap incident was hard to track, but we did catch Chrissy's. But what I was going to say is, what a result for Spearhead Race Engineering after that first round.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, couldn't and Matt, who finished 5th.
Yeah,
so that,
fifth, yeah.
So brilliant. I couldn't ask for a better first race for the.
So yeah, where's Matt kind of come from? Do you know him from other racing leagues, or is he a friend of yours, a friend of Robert's?
No, he was a friend of mine. I work with him at STV. We both work at Scottish TV here in Glasgow. So we've always been chatting back and forward about the game and Assetto Corsa, the previous version, and he struggles quite a bit with getting time to practice, but managed to finally cajole him into joining the team and getting in for a race. So hopefully, yeah, and it was.
I mean, that's a pretty strong opening performance by him if he doesn't get much time to practice. So that's always good for the future to know that if he does, then.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great performance by him. I know he was fighting with Roland for quite a while there.
Yeah.
But he had trouble with his tyre pressures. I think he struggled to get his tyre pressures right before the start, so I think his tyres started to go off. But yeah, brilliant. Really happy with that. Good points.
Yeah, no, good stuff. Well, yeah, well done. All right, cool. Well, I'll let you have a few minutes to relax while the guys are sorting the server out in the background, but we'll catch up with you later.
Right, cheers, guys.
Cheers, Michael.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, good stuff.
That's exciting. I forget how Scottish he is until he speaks. Well, that's exciting then, isn't it? If Mitchell isn't spending that much time on the game, but then has come in straight away. I mean, it's not like he lost that position to someone that's a bit of a slouch. Roland Stallman's is a proper driver, isn't he? So yeah. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for what's
yeah, it's so nice that some of the guys are bringing their friends in. So Billingham brought his friend in. I don't know if they're back for race 2 or not, but they definitely started the race with Shane. So them guys joined. We've got Bjorkman and Curran have teamed up, like you say, they've brought Matt in. And just on the whole, we're sort of just getting a few more people appearing. Well, Heath's definitely brought a few people in as well, hasn't he? Because
he's like
Sharman got roped into it. Liam tried roping his dad into it at times, but I don't think he's had too much of that one. But did come and sort of join a little bit on some of our test sessions and things. And that's what it's all about, is the community aspect of it.
Yeah, I was going to say as well, I think it's really important to say, like, you can see that this is quite high level. The guys are setting some good times, but if you do just want to come in and test with the guys and get a bit of support and help, we've seen that with in the chats quite a bit. I'm like a ghost that just kind of is there but don't never say anything. But I can see what's going on. I can see setups being changed and sent across to one another. So come in, and then you never know what will come from it. Really, I think it's especially while we've got lockdown, whatever we're in.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? People have got a bit more time for it, some of them, although we seem to be busier than ever. But yeah, I'll just keep looking over to the side because I can see my chat over here. I can't see if we've had anything else from any of the other stuff.
Yeah, my restream thing's dropped a tiny bit.
Cool. But yeah, if you are watching, guys, let us know what you thought, and let us know how you've been. How are people? Because we have some people that do come back and join the different streams. What did you think of the race? Who are you rooting for? If you're supporting anyone, let us know. I know I don't know if it is Ryan Billingham or just Ryan Billingham's YouTube channel controlled by someone else, but does comment on a few of the races during the race while it's happening, which is always good. So yeah, do hit us up and let us know. So at the moment, everyone is just resetting in the server to ready to go again for the next qualifying session, which will be happening very, very soon. We may even be able to just join a bit of the test session and see what people are up to in that in a minute, but we'll just see. Race director Ben will be with us shortly to do that stuff. He's just probably grabbing himself a can of Monster or something. He's a big fan of Monster Energy. Hashtag ad.
Hashtag you want that sponsorship.
Hashtag I wish it was an ad. Would save a few of us some money, wouldn't it? If we could get a nice Monster Energy sponsorship. If Race Director could let me know, though, if the server's back up and running in my ear, because I'm trying to get into my commentary box version. Cool. All right, well, we'll try that again then.
Yeah, so the guys are just in practice at the moment, and this will be interesting to see if there's any setup changes. I think if Bjorkman, I can't imagine is going to change anything, or why would he? I think the top 3 are probably set. Obviously, Curran mentioned about Mitchell having a bit of issues with his tyre pressure, so we might see a change there. That's when being in a team is really useful, because you can get that kind of, I guess, extra info, a little bit of guidance as to what might go wrong.
I just had I
can't read it.
Had a comment from the Godfather / not Godfather in his own words.
I know, we need to do an official thing. I mean, that's some serious time that Ian shaved off there.
Well, read it out because everyone can hear them.
So Charlie's right for starters. Which
I thought you might like to say that.
Is obviously not a new thing. But yeah, so Ian's been with the Discord, been talking in the Discord to you, obviously you know him anyway, for about the last week or so. So he started off at Spa. I think most of his time's been at Spa, doing a 2:30, and he's managed to get it down to 2:23, and that's just by kind of collaboration and talking with the rest of the guys. So I think that's a really good example of, you know, what can be achieved with sharing setups and sort of hints and tips and things like that. I guess it's also worth talking about to anyone new that's watching us as well. I think most of us, or most of the guys that are in this, are running on a fairly similar setup in terms of VR, but there are different setups that you can have as well. So while the guys are having sort of the last few minutes of their practice before we go into qualifying, can you kind of give us the techie-ish lowdown with that, Mackenzie?
Yeah, so there's, as you say, a few options. There's even different sets of VR that people use, but VR is becoming the most common sort of setup for a lot of people. So, if anyone's literally brand new to this, it's literally a headset that puts you in the virtual world. So when they look around, it's like they're in the cockpit looking around with different types of wheels and stuff around there. No, it's not easy to grab, but yeah, so that's how that was. But then also either one big curved screen or 3 triple screens sort of wrapped around them simulates a cockpit quite nicely as well. And a lot of sort of professional simulators do that. So you can either then get to the point where you start having motion on there as well, and it can move around and tilt and vibrate a little bit like a race car would. So these games are all kind of configured so that they can work with that stuff, which is quite cool. But yeah, surprisingly hard work to concentrate for a long time, especially if you've got a headset on and you're concentrating for even the 30-minute races. You know, you can find people are getting quite hot and sweaty at the end of it sometimes. You know, it's quite hard work. During
the summer, we did the 90-minute charity race, didn't we? And it was when it was literally super hot. And I think all the guys were feeling that towards the end. But yeah, you know, I don't spend too much time on the game, having come from a racing background interestingly, probably because I can't actually get onto the setup because Mackenzie's usually racing when he's got time.
I was usually racing.
Well, you know,
I'm usually working on it.
But yeah, it you know, you can learn so much from it as well. And I think taking some of the skills from the real life and putting it into here doesn't necessarily make it any easier, because you do have to adapt a little bit. And it was like you were saying as well, but in terms of track limits, when you have raced, you do tend to kind of know where you can and can't do certain things. And I think in the game, everything's kind of highlighted and amplified that little bit more. I personally struggle with VR a little bit as well. It makes me feel a bit...
Yeah, it can make some people feel a little bit queasy. Yeah. There is that. Yeah, there's a few things that I think when you transfer over, it definitely is still different. You're never going to perfectly simulate it. For one thing, a racetrack is a living, breathing thing. And as much as these games do try and simulate track evolution, it's never quite the same in that sense. But like just on a race start, where to put a car, because you know when someone's likely to put a move up the inside of you, to just not even bother turning into the corner because someone's going to be there. But then someone that hasn't raced for a long time or is new to sim racing and hasn't raced in the real world probably doesn't have that background knowledge to know that in this situation, based off my bad exit 2 corners ago before this fast segment, that someone's probably going to stuff it up the inside. I should just leave a load of space. They don't do that. They turn in and then they get T-boned and think someone's took them out. And it's kind of, it's almost neither person's fault in some of these situations where they're just inexperienced. So yeah, I think there's definitely crossovers between the two.
I think as well with that, that's where there's such a benefit in racing in a championship as well, because you do start to learn who's around you. You're kind of in different track, but kind of almost like the same controlled-ish environment, especially when our grid is getting bigger and bigger. We've almost got less kind of members of the public, and you know, it's not to say we don't want members of the public, we want them to come regulars, because then you can kind of understand, you know where you can push, and a lot of the guys are talking to one another in the Discord chats as well. I sometimes sit in and listen to the races when you actually get time to jump in, and you can see all the guys communicating with one another saying, what, I'm there, don't, or whatever, because it is hard to kind of have that vision at the side, isn't it?
I'm coming through.
Yeah.
Move aside.
Does that mean move or not? Like, no.
It's when you hear someone go, oh crap. Yeah. It's like, uh-oh, what have they done? Yeah. It's usually Monza turn 1, someone just fires across the first chicane where they've just missed their braking completely.
Oh, yeah.
Right, free practice is coming to a close, so we will be jumping in game very, very shortly. So stick with us if you want more. Qualifying 2 is coming up. Race 2 is then coming up very shortly after that. So we are minutes away from starting the second qualifying session. So just a quick note, we've mentioned the Discord and things a few times. We've mentioned pubbers joining. If you do want to get involved, you can. There is a link below Charlotte and I on the screen, or it mentions the Discord anyway. There's then links below in the descriptions, depending on where you're watching.
Also like it on YouTube.
Like, subscribe and share.
Yeah.
Can't be on YouTube without doing that. Yeah, I mean, jokes aside, it's always good for us to know what people think, and a little comment goes a long way, and there's a few people in the background helping put this together as well. So yeah, we greatly appreciate any likes and comments and shares and that type of stuff. So thank you to those that already have. I saw a few of the guys shared it before they came on tonight even. So Chrissy streamed himself, Chrissy Palmer, shared it onto his socials and stuff as well. But yeah, if you want to get involved, click the Discord link, come in and join. Even if you just want to kind of come and get involved in the back end of the conversations and help out in other ways, whether it's sharing screenshots or helping people with liveries and that type of stuff. It's not even necessarily all to race. There's a couple of guys in there that just like to come in and join the chat, really. So you can do that side of it as well. But if you want to get involved in racing, we've got some fun races coming up to sort of kind of celebrate the launch of the British GT DLC that's come out for the game. Yes,
I'm excited.
No, today. It's either today or tomorrow.
I'm going to start jumping on this more now.
That's it. I'm going to lose my wheel of VR set now. Yeah,
it's my birthday soon, so
that's good. Well, I'll get a new one and give you mine.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to be running fun races at Donington Park next Tuesday. So it's not live streamed, but people, most of us will be on because we're all really excited to get out on the British tracks. Then we've got Snetterton after that, and then Alton Park after that. So that runs every other Tuesday, and our live streams run every other Tuesday. So there's something happening every Tuesday now for the next couple of months, which is good. But yeah, these ones are live streamed. The Euro Series is going to be live streamed each time. So again, if you want to come back and watch, you can. Remember, you can vote for the driver of the day, so they'll be looking for your points from that. And I really hope we get a few people vote tonight. Quite a bit quiet on the last one. Whereas a couple before, we've had loads of people kind of voting and bringing in their friends.
We had to get the post-it note out, didn't we? To start doing Italian.
Yeah, anything above 5 votes, we have to start thinking about it to tally it up.
Thinking about it a bit more, yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. So yeah, stick around for halfway through race 2. You can then vote for that. But I think qualifying is just starting. So let's jump in the game, shall we, everyone, and see what happens for qualifying 2 of the Euro Sprint Series. Bjorkman has a strong start. The drivers, not drivers. Ian's a diver.
I was going to say, if it was Ian, it would be a diver.
The drivers are making their way out of the pit lane now. For whatever reason as well, in the game, the drivers start at what is the Formula 1 exit, which is coming out of the hairpin, but then they drive through. You can see now they're driving through the endurance pit lane. So the Spa has 2 pit lanes. So I don't know why, but what that means is if you get a drive-through here, you're not driving through 1 pit lane, you're driving through 2. So it's a really bad track to get a drive-through penalty at, which, as we know, Danny Price got in the last race. And we found out last week in the practice race, if you don't serve your drive-through penalty, you get an 80-second time penalty, which I imagine is probably about only 15 or 10 seconds worse. So here they go then, heading out the pit up through Eau Rouge for the first time. Cars' tyres will be cold at the moment. Sorry, Charlotte was just waving at me, but I don't know what for.
He keeps banging his water bottle around.
Yeah, that was ages ago.
I was trying to subtly tell him, but hey-ho.
Just tell me, we're all friends here. Another delicate placement of my water bottle in the commentary box.
You don't need to hydrate.
How do you still hear it, Ben? I don't get it. Race director's giving me jip. What about this one? He's telling us in our ear. Okay, all right. There we are. We're nothing but professional here, are we? Cool, right. How are we all doing in the background anyway? How's George doing? I've not heard much from him in the background there. George is helping us with replays and stuff. He's good. Can everyone hear George?
Probably your headphones are so loud that they're probably on the microphone, to be honest. I don't even need headphones on to hear.
There we are.
Your headphones are so loud.
Yeah, I have audio issues on this for some reason. Say hello to everyone, George. What did you say? How you doing?
Hello, everyone. Got my Cannon Monster here, as a true race director fashion.
Has George just promoted himself to race director?
Yeah, sorry, Ben. George, just tell us really quickly what happens for you to clip a replay and get it ready for Ben. Just talk people through that process and then we'll jump in.
Pure stress is what happens. So I have to hear you guys scream at me 100 times to get the replay, then I have to go and find the replay in the game, then put it into Premiere Pro, then export it, and then send Ben the link, and then Ben's not going to play it because it doesn't work anyway. So that's the process here.
George's nickname is Sass Man. I don't know if you can detect the sass in his voice, but But yeah, I mean, it does work most of the time, but for whatever reason, that second one didn't. Cool. All right, right. We'll let them guys get back to it, and we'll get back to actually commentating on qualifying, shall we? Ben, if I could please ask for us to ride on board with Chrissy Palmer, because he's just a couple corners into his lap, and then we can see what happens. And I'll find him on the background, and then we can all go through Spa together. Grid's filling out again as well, which is nice. Always good to see. Good number of drivers. And it's a really long straight coming into that heavy braking zone, so the car is flat out for quite some time. There he is. Right. I have to match it up on another screen in the background in case anyone wonders what's going on. That's what I'm doing when we're trying to find a driver for a lap. So, drops down into the off-camber right-hand corner here, and then through into a medium fast left. The Ferrari can use a bit of curbs, but you still don't ever want to go too mad with this car, because some of the cars ride curbs better than others. So, just depends a little bit. A little bit of oversteer has become in there, interestingly. So he's definitely pushing at the moment, isn't he? This will be probably his first flying lap that we're on at the moment.
I think Chrissy's going to come into this with a little bit of a got something to prove mindset as well, hasn't he? I don't think he's going to take any crap, is he? No. At all for this one. So that will always be interesting to watch and see what's going to happen there.
Yeah, for sure. So you can see at the minute then he is his first lap was a 5-minute 59.6. So the system kind of trips out a little bit when they do that opening lap, and that is that long pit exit that I was talking about that just doesn't help the situation. But coming into the bus stop chicane then, before we then bring our way up across the start-finish line into La Source hairpin. And then this will be a pretty good lap, I think, to start off with by the looks of it. It's going to be like a 2:18.0. That's a very strong lap, actually. So he's definitely not struggling for an out-and-out pace. The fastest lap during the race was Bjorkman 2:18.3 during the last race. It's similar kind of conditions this time. So we'll see what the other drivers do as they cross the line. 15.
There was in the qualifying last time it was like a 2:17, wasn't there? A high 2:17. So if this is his first flying lap that he's putting in, then.
Oh, what a save!
That is not a place that you want to go off.
I mean, that's scary enough in a game, and that in the real world is completely.
Haven't we got in-car footage of you when we was racing there, where you had the biggest moment?
No,
was it somewhere else?
I have. There is footage there going through it in the Lotus, but it was Brands Hatch actually at Hawthorns that I had a big load opposite lock next to another car. It was a quali lap, and I just didn't want to back off. So I had to kind of go underneath someone at the corner. That was a fun moment. So Chrissy then goes back to the pit lane, and we're now looking at Dom Stallman, who is also on a quicker lap, because you can see it's green at the moment in the top left corner. And as I say that, it goes red. So it's now not a quicker lap. It's almost like they know what we're saying, isn't it, sometimes?
Yeah.
just to make us look silly, yeah. If you're in chat, come and say hello. Let us know if we had anything on your iPad over there.
Not recently.
No cheesy jokes. No one saying use camembert to coax a bear down from a tree or anything like that. So Chrissy's making his way back out of the pits again. I'm just keeping an eye on where everyone is. Let's go on board with Dom Stallman, shall we? We've been on board with Chrissy, so we'll jump into that cockpit of the Porsche now and see what that looks like. Because he's also about to start his lap time going through bus stop chicane.
I'm going to point something out here before I forget to say it. Just bear in mind, Chrissy has no ballast in his car at the moment.
Ooh, yeah.
Stallman is currently running with 10 kilos of ballast.
Yeah. Bjorkman 15,
and Curran 5. Now the 5 you can argue probably isn't going to hurt you that much, is it?
No.
You're going to know it's. Would you even?
You probably wouldn't even know it's there.
Would you? No.
It's an extra couple of litres of fuel at the end of the day, isn't it?
10 to 15 kilos though starts to make a difference. If you couldn't strip any more weight out of the car or run on any less fuel than what you would, you'd probably be told to go on a drastic diet to lose that before the race. Whichever way you can do that. So.
like a jockey.
Have a quick bit of lipo or get in the sauna or something. So it's just worth noting that with these lap times that are going to come in, because Chrissy has got the edge at the moment.
Yeah, by about half a second by the looks of it. So definitely looking nice and strong on the lap times at the moment. Who do we think is going to be pole then? People watching, come on, let's have a name recommendation. Who's your money on? Do we think Chrissy's going to hang on to it? Do we think the race winner from last time, Bjorkman, will take that? Let's have some comments. Who do you think? Do you think Chrissy's going to hang on to it?
Yeah, I'm sticking. I think Chrissy's still got something left to go as well. I think if that was your first one, so 2:18 dead pretty much, I reckon he's got another 10th or 2 in there. I hope anyway. Good for InGear Motorsport. A little bit of bias there as well.
Yeah, we need some points after that first one.
We need to get someone else in the InGear Motorsport team.
Yeah, I mean, that would be me if I'm not commentating. So, Chris and I occasionally do the odd endurance race together, which is always good fun. But yeah, open to entries if someone wants to come and join.
Yeah.
We did have Jack Taylor for a while, but he's kind of been a bit in and out for a number of reasons, which is fair enough. You know, it is all for fun at the end of the day. But yeah, if anyone wants to come and join, is this us officially now opening for drivers?
Is this the interview phase?
Yeah. Your interview starts with a comment.
So, well, on that note, Ian has just said that he thinks Chrissy Palmer thinks he's a man on a mission, which I think so as well. I just don't think he's going to have taken that. He'll act all chilled out and zen, as he always does in a post-race interview, because he's a professional in that sense. He will be annoyed by that move that happened.
And I've just realised, as we're saying that someone else has just joined last minute and gone 2 tenths faster. Camber, also in a Ferrari. Interesting.
Am I missing something here with the EPRT?
No, that might be like a sim racing group or something that race together. I haven't heard of them, but someone else almost might correct me. Well, let's go on board with him, shall we? Camber, currently P1. See what's happening there. 2 Ferraris at the moment without ballast are currently the fastest cars on the track. It's so funny to have some, like, they kind of dance the car into this corner every single time. It's always amazing to watch, and it kind of is it is one of the faster ways through it. You almost want to start flicking the car in before you even get to the apex.
The thing is, though, with that comes with confidence.
Yeah, you need to know.
And that's when you need to be comfortable feeling very, very uncomfortable, which is definitely not something that's an easy thing to learn, especially.
That felt like an Instagram quote.
Yeah.
You need to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
I'm going to become an influencer now, go out to Dubai.
Savage. So yeah, no, we were.
I mean, he's up marginally. He's a 10th up on his time as well. So again, you can see in the top left-hand corner, the green section, that he's currently up on the last lap, which was a 2:17.8.
Yeah.
He's just gone
He's gone faster again.
Yeah, 2:17.
But Chrissy has gone faster than that.
A 2:17.6 by Chrissy.
This is getting seriously fast now, isn't it?
I mean, I said Chrissy had a 10th or 2 in it, not 4 tenths.
I mean, he, as Ian said, he's a man on a mission. Ian had it now called there. So we've got 2.5 minutes left, which is actually only once more across the line for everyone. So yeah, they're going to have to be careful.
Yeah. So Paulina needs another coffee before the next race. Yeah, if you could make one for me and send it my way, and yeah, and Ian's having a G&T as well, which sounds actually probably even better. I'm probably doing exactly what my dad's doing at the moment as well.
Yeah. Well, your dad's probably playing chess at the same time.
Yeah, God, yeah.
So Chrissy, you can see, is currently. Oh no, we're watching Camber on there. Camber's going faster. Chrissy's Chrissy's just pulled off. I'm watching on 2 cameras at once.
Yeah.
So Camber can still go faster, but can Chrissy?
I mean,
Chrissy doesn't really have time now, so this is it. If this lap is enough to go pole for Camber, then he will probably keep it, unless someone else crops up out of nowhere.
I mean, That's a bloody good effort by Chrissy either way, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're coming into the final part of the lap now, aren't we? So we've got Campus and Stavelot coming up.
I mean, just to put that into context, though, that
Oh, and he runs off onto the gravel. Oh,
Now
he'll
that-
be kicking himself.
that is definition of where your eyes are, your hands will follow. He looked at that person in the gravel 100%, and that's why he ended up in there.
Yeah. Oh, you can just feel the steam coming out of that cockpit. Well, there you go. There you go, folks. Had a shot at pole and didn't get it. Now, what it does mean, though, is Chrissy's got an unknown entity that he's not raced against before starting alongside him on this race. I mean, that's as it stands. We still have drivers finishing laps at the moment.
If that was that driver's interview to come into InGear Motorsport, then...
Well, he's still P2 in his defence, but yeah.
No, I was saying that's properly good. I mean, as well, just to put that into context as well, he's only a 10th off Chrissy, so there's nothing in it really, is there? It's actually less than a 10th when you look at it. So having a little look sort of further down the grid, then Curran is quite out of pace compared to where he was in the previous race. So he's currently down in P12, and so is Mitchell in P13. So have they done a setup change or something?
Can we just do a quick livery appreciation of that car as well before we go to our Discord break? Because there's a number of drivers on ads. If we can just have a nice little look at that. That's custom made by, I don't know if it was Curran or Bjorkman that done it, but it's one of my favourites so far, the sort of gold text on the black car. It reminds me of the famous John Player Special Lotus.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's what they were going for.
Yeah, I like that. Ian's just has a look to see who, I'm guessing they're EPRT or
a French version of InGear. So it's another sim racing league. Yeah.
That's
I have
cool.
seen it before somewhere, but I've just never known what it is. But that's normally people put it as a bit like a tag in their name.
I think that's what I like so much about this. One of the things I miss most about racing is being around different languages, different countries, traveling all the time. So it's nice to almost have that kind of environment back here.
I love that with karting in the early days. But we best get ourselves off to our ad break. Everyone, Curran has a lap to finish, but we'll find out where he ends up in a minute. See you in a couple minutes' time. Okay, folks, so welcome back. Race starting any minute. There's a couple of cars just finishing off their laps, and then the drivers will switch over to the grid. Don't need hundreds of people to move the cars from pit lane to grid. In this virtual world, you'll just see them literally teleport. It is very COVID safe, yeah, because everyone will just teleport to the grid, still in the car, helmet on, gloves on, ready to go, wherever they actually happen to be in the world. Good point to mention, we have German drivers, a driver from Sweden who won the last race in Bjorkman, a number of Scots in the server, Curran and Kidd and Murray are all Scottish drivers. Might even be another one in there that I don't know about who's joined as a pubber for the first time tonight. And then obviously there's English drivers in there. We had Italians joining. I think Bedoya's Spanish, but he may well correct me at some point afterwards. Spanish or Portuguese, yeah. Some of them don't always make it obvious where they're from, but just from talking to them in Discord and stuff, we see a bit. So yeah, we've got a nice mix of drivers coming into to the grid, which is always good fun to see. Right then.
What's your predictions?
If Chrissy can get away in the first couple laps, I think it's Chrissy's race. If Camber gets in front of him and he gets put into danger zone again, I think he'll be. It might be a bit of a repeat of last time. 2000s.
It's just nothing. You can't even blink that fast.
Yeah, I guess we can start. We can bring the grid up, can't we, everyone?
Yeah.
I don't know why it's taking so long to switch, but it should do. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Cool. Okay, let's go through this grid order then, shall we? So 30 cars on the grid. I can certainly see the first 20 at the moment. So let's go with what we can see in the commentary box due to the unique way that this setup is funded. So Chrissy Palmer took pole position and hung on by literally thousandths of a second there. Camber was in second, who joined literally kind of out of nowhere and popped in a time. Bjorkman, previous race winner and also running with 15 kilograms of ballast, is third on the grid. Dominic Stallman in fourth. J. Joe is fifth on the grid. Also another unknown entity that's just come in here, as is Graham in P6. Schmidtline is back for another race in P7. Ranger in 8th. Heath is in 9th, looking to have a better race, I'm sure.
He'll be on a charge through.
He'll be on a charge. And Curran in 10th, also a bit out of position there. Roland Stallman also out of position down 11th. So we've got some fast drivers in the front sort of 8 here. Wagner in 12th, Bedoya in 13th, Mitchell in 14th. Another good solid result. You've got to remember, it's the first race he's joined with us tonight. Arcaron in 15th, Charbonnier in 16th, Murray in 17th, Price in 18th, Billingham in 19th. So it's good to see Billingham made it back. And then Shushk is also back in P20. And then I think you might have the rest of them on your side.
Yep, they just moved around. So we've got Neil Kidd in
second,
P22. I think that's the last. And we've got Sharman in P26 out of our sort of normal crew.
Good stuff. But yeah, another full grid, which is good to see. So around sort of 16, 17 of the drivers are competing in the championship. And then the rest of them have just joined in on this particular race, basically, is the way it works. So the server is always open for members of the public to hop in, but if they want to get their points scored and logged in the ongoing series, then they basically are come and enter on our Discord. So feel free to join anyone, but strap in. Race 2 is about to start as the drivers begin the formation period. Chrissy Palmer in the orange Ferrari. We were just looking before, but the lap record in the real world is held by a Ferrari GT3 car at Spa of a, for car racing anyway, of a 2:15.8. So not a million miles off actual real world record pace. And obviously the track conditions vary all the time. So this might not be as hot or sticky as that particular occasion was. And, you know, it's not far off at all. So on the left-hand side, though, is Camber, also in the white Ferrari. Then you've got a white Porsche behind that, which is Dominic Stallman. And then the other car alongside that is Bjorkman, the sort of black and golded coloured Lexus. So got a mix of manufacturers, and away they go. Lights are green. Chrissy gets a slightly better start, but is still going to have to wrestle with Camber on the way up Eau Rouge. Looks like they both managed to make it start. I think there was a little bit of rubbing there, but it was also hard to tell between the stream. Yeah, I think that was just a little bit of the connection here for us. But Bjorkman gets away ahead of Stallman, and at the moment in the black Lexus. But look at that. I think it's a Nissan of Graham that's actually on the inside of Chrissy at the moment. Chrissy gets on the brakes and comes very close into the back of Camber there, but so far so good for Camber. Gets away. Chrissy's now got to deal with Bjorkman on his outside. Bjorkman's then going to have to deal with Graham, who's got up into fourth. So good start by Graham. Lots going on further back in the field as well, but we'll keep an eye on what we can see at the moment as Bjorkman gets an inside run on Chrissy and Chrissy might get the left-hander for the next one, but this is not good for him because he's now going to be in the danger zone. All the while, Camber is just stretching his legs away in to build a nice little gap. Arguably a bit too much squabbling, I would say, between second, third, fourth. They should have just sort of settled.
It. Yeah, should have just, yeah. Looking pretty clean from the back of the grid. So this aerial shot every now and then gives us kind of like a little glimpse of what's going on in the back, and it looked like it was a fairly cleanish train going on there, which is good to see. But yeah, Chrissy's still hanging on there to Bjorkman, isn't he? He knows that he just can't let Bjorkman get away from this at the moment. But yeah, Camber's off, isn't he?
Yeah. Now, one thing to remember is that Bjorkman does have that ballast. Chrissy doesn't have ballast after that disaster in race one. No fault of his own, but got took out in that collision.
Yeah.
Looks like there's a bit of a squabble, a couple cars back as well between, I think that's potentially Stallman. No, Stallman's fine. It's Ranger and Joe, who are literally going to touch. You can see just in the back of your shot there, the black Lamborghini and two black Lamborghinis actually having a bit of a squabble, both running off onto the extra runoff space there.
Yeah.
That Schmidt line, who's very fast in the Lexus behind them. Chrissy looks like he had a look at Bjorkman just ahead. We're trying to keep on top of everything all at once there.
That's just bunched the grid up massively, though, hasn't it? It's almost like they stopped on the apex there.
But I know there's a lot going on, but if we could just keep an eye on Chrissy through the next couple of corners, please. If we could just go a couple of cars back up again, I think he may well do it. Let's ride on board with Bjorkman's rear bumper, shall we? Because I think we can get a nice view going through a rouge of everything behind us as well then. There's a lot going on all at once. Good opening lap, though. Especially if your name's Jay Camber and you get a good run like that. Chrissy goes to the left then, looks like he's going to build momentum, gets the run, and they're neck and neck as they run up the straight. But Chrissy is probably going to draw ahead. It's whether Bjorkman tries to do him on the brakes, but I don't think he will. And Chrissy Palmer gets the job done, but now has a 3-second gap to the next car to try and think about. But he needed to do that, didn't he?
Yeah, he needed to do it, but he looks strong, doesn't he?
Yeah, looking very, very feisty in the orange Ferrari. Not something you say that often.
Orange Ferrari, yeah.
He's got red wing mirrors, though.
That's even worse.
Yeah, I know.
That doesn't go. Something for us to keep an eye out on this race, because we've been watching a couple of the guys with track limits, that there's going to be warnings coming much earlier than it did the last time. Yeah, it's certainly the top 6 we can see from these nice aerial views there, that they're pushing the limits.
Yeah, definitely. I just saw Mitchell pop up on the in-game chat saying, really? So something might happen there for him. Debut race, he did start in that kind of mid-pack chaos of P14, didn't he? And it's so hard to get a clear opening there. So be interested to see. The guys will be can look into that one and find out what happened in the background. But at the moment, then, Camber is still in the lead, 3.1 seconds ahead of Chrissy Palmer. He's got Bjorkman behind him. Graham has had a really good start in that Nissan, actually, up into 4th and seems to be holding positions. He's gained a couple of places. Promoted Jojo and Ranger in the 2 Lamborghinis, who we saw squabbling just a couple moments ago. Let's maybe see who else we've got going on.
Yeah, so Heath and Curran there, literally a tenth between one another. They're not stupid. They'll probably be working together, won't they? They know that if they can kind of get past that sort of top middle pack, I would say, that they're going to get themselves easily in the points finish rather than just being in the points finish. And Stallman, he'll be aiming to do that as well. So Heath, Curran and Stallman's all definitely a little bunch to watch out for there. It's very close everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, lots of nice little close battles going on. I don't want to miss too much what might happen with Dominic Stallman. In fact, we're watching it, so let's just see. Oh, we've gone to Heath.
Yeah, if we can just jump back up to Dom Stallman.
Just for a moment. There you go. Just because I think he might get a slipstream here and have a little think about it at the end of the straight. Although, as I say that, it looks like he wasn't close enough.
We know he's good under the brakes through this section, though. This is where he got Chrissy in the last race, so...
Yeah, and he's very strong on the brakes. The Porsche is a fast car around this track as well, so he'll be looking to come through. The Nissan, you don't normally see this. You know, any car is capable of being fast, but certainly there's certain tracks that favour certain cars, and the Nissan's not normally this high up around here, I would say, but Ferrari and Lexus and Porsche are all the ones you'd expect. So, yeah, good job by Graham. Not one of the drivers in the championship, but someone that's just joined in for this race. So, nice job by him. Just keeping an eye. Chrissy's pulled a 10th in out of Camber, but that's going to be a long uphill battle for him now, I think, to try and recover from that one. So the guys are just looking into the stuff on the start there with Mitchell, but I did see he was in the pits. So yeah, not sure what happened there, but we will try and find out. Now let's see what else we have going on around the paddock here, or around the track. So we've got Heath down in 9th at the moment, having his little race. Good start for him so far. Curran's dropped to 11th out of the points. Murray 13th and Billingham in 14th. Again, I'm just going through some of the regular drivers who are signed up to the championship. So let's take a look at Billingham, because we've not actually seen him so far, and we should have a nice blue livery on that Aston Martin for us to have a little look at. So Astronia Racing Team is Billingham and Shane. I don't know where Shane is on the track, if he made it back for race 2 or not, throughout all the different drivers we've been trying to monitor that have just joined in the last couple of days. But we shall have a little check in a second.
Yeah, and Liam Sharman's just messaged us on Facebook. Hi, Liam. What? Where's he gone?
What are you doing on Facebook, Liam?
Yeah.
Is it ready for us to scrap?
So we just heard there was quite a big scrap with Mitchell at the start. So yeah, we'll hopefully get a replay for that soon for everyone to have a little look at.
I think that's the thing as well, is with Spa certainly, but again with all the circuits that you kind of start to hear some of the same names going through that phase of having bad luck after bad luck. That is the difference with the middle pack. It's kind of when you first start with this, you have the I'm just a little bit off the pace, and then you get into the pace and you get into the middle pack, and you know, naturally that's where some more of the scraps are going to be and the accidents are going to form. And it's kind of getting yourself, what can you do to get out of that mid-pack phase into like the top, top 5, top 6, but certainly top 5, where it kind of, the risk almost goes down a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. Because not only that, the drivers at the front are generally more experienced and therefore are less likely to hit you anyway, but then also there is a concertina effect mid-pack that also makes it tighter and tighter. Liam said that a few of them had a weird VR spike at the beginning and the FPS dropped to 20. So, well, you know, it's always equipment related, isn't it? When there's an incident in any kind of motorsport.
It's always the way.
It's always the way, yeah. He'll send me a message now, probably.
Cool. Where's Danny Price? I just quickly whizzed out of the room to get a charger. Where's Danny Price? Is
19th at the moment.
19th. So let's check in on him, see how he's doing there. So no, Pauline is watching. I still love that livery.
Yeah, we'll find him on P19 then. Again, not the best to start, but he was also in that danger zone. I also noticed Roland Stallman's down in P20. Danny was catching DL ahead of him and has just dropped back, so I wouldn't be surprised if he just had a go at trying to pass him. So that's the blue car up ahead, the Porsche. So probably just had a go at getting past him, didn't quite make it work, and then has dropped back a little bit again. So
I mean, you can see how much time he's just caught up on him onto the braking zone. That was insane how much time he just caught up. And who is that?
Right, Renberg in the Lexus just having a little bit of a moment to himself. He's pulled over for a quick catch his breath and he's off and going again.
Now, I wonder what happened there with DL under braking. Danny was all over the back of him, but couldn't quite. Again, yellow flag would be out. So if anyone's wondering why didn't he make that move, that would be exactly why he didn't, because there's a yellow flag, no overtaking under a yellow. I would assume that's why DL sort of literally stopped the car so much. I mean,
commentator's curse again. Nearly actually collected someone coming out of the pit lane by the looks of it.
Is that where he went off last time?
Yeah, that's where he had an incident last time.
Yeah.
He just obviously, it's so easy for Eau Rouge to try and push the car that bit too hard. And I mean, I've not seen a great deal of Danny Price online lately, so I don't think he's done much time in this car. And you need to really know the car before you start pushing it for Eau Rouge. So I think he's just caught himself out there a little bit, unfortunately. But hopefully not so much damage that he can't continue. We'll get back to the pits to try and sort that out. But yeah, plenty of drivers getting caught out by the track tonight. We've seen a few people lose it just even on acceleration and traction coming out of the last chicane, which is what that Lexus was doing a minute ago that we just saw. Right, how are we doing back towards the front end of the grid? If we just bring the full screen up for a minute, we can get a gauge of timings. But it looks like Chrissy Palmer is still trying to chase down and has actually dropped back 9/10. He's 3.9 back from Camber now. Graham, though, into third, which is great by him. He's actually got past Bjorkman, who's now down into fourth place. Could that balance be holding him up a little bit? I don't know. It's potentially likely to. I think certainly later in the race, the tyres will wear out a bit faster than everyone else. Dominic Stallman is behind him in fifth place as well. And then Joe Ranger Schmidtline, all eighth, up to eighth. Bedoya is going well in ninth. Good race from him. He was a few places further back than that. So he's gained a few places already. And Heath is in 10th at this moment in time. Shall we go and have a little look at Mr. Heathy Keefy and see how he's doing? Do we still have Heath Senior? Oh,
no. Let's just stay on board.
Bjorkman
For a second. So pixelated on my screen here. So we've got a battle going on here with Bjorkman, Stallman.
Yeah, just trying to find it on the other.
This battle's quite important for the championship because Curran is just in the points or currently out. Again, we'll have a little look at that.
I think Curran just got clipped, you know.
Yeah, and Stallman's out of the points.
And Graham just got a drive-through penalty. So Stallman's P5 currently. Roland Stallman's out of the points, though. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm thinking from a championship point of view. And you could the opening 2 rounds of a championship, it has kind of set the tone a little bit, hasn't it, for the team championship at the moment?
Definitely. I mean, both teams still got a person at the front. Chrissy's obviously making a nice comeback in this one. Even P2 is a good points haul with 12 points. But Dominic Stallman trying to find a way past the... it's actually not updated on the screenshot, I don't think, because I think he's actually trying to pass the Nissan of Graham. Yeah, there it is. It's just updated. So that's Bjorkman trying to pass Graham.
Graham's got a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, so he needs to serve that over the next 3 laps. So we'll see what happens. If it was me, I probably would just give myself another lap or 2 to let the rest of the field spread out. It is still only lap 5. But at Spa, that is obviously still a fairly long time. But I would want to give it a little bit longer if I could. So we're just over 10 minutes into this 30-minute race. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're in the car, it's quite a while to concentrate for. So I've just got a replay here that I'm looking at. We can't seem to play them for whatever reason tonight, which is a shame. But it was that pack at the start. I don't even know which drivers it was from looking at this. Oh, it's Chrissy. We've got the different liveries again. Yeah, so I think it was Schmidtline and a few others that got caught up. George or Ben, can you just let me know who that was in the replay? Oh, that was Mitchell's incident, okay.
Yeah, so if you watch here, that's a tough one to call. We'll put this up, we'll put this clip up on our Instagram.
Yeah.
And see what you guys think. So head on to our Instagram because we can't, George, sorry, I'm giving you another job to do there in the background because we can't play them on the stream for whatever reason. You go onto our Instagram, InGear Motorsport, and we'll quickly pop it up there so you guys can see what's happened there. Now, am I right in thinking that the red Ferrari is actually Chrissy?
No, because Chrissy's still running fine, so I don't know who the red Ferrari was. And Narakaron, number 32, was in the Ferrari. And then was that Mitchell then that basically caught the Ferrari? Yeah. Okay, so that's what it was then. It was, and I did see that they both well, didn't both. Mitchell said, "What was that?" or something in the chat, and then I saw Ekron said sorry. So I think everyone's all kind of happy and moved on with that one more or less. I'm sure Mitchell won't be too happy that he's missed out, but yeah. As Danny Price just gets lapped by Bjorkman, Graham and Stallman. But as we saw earlier on, he obviously picked up that damage at the top of Eau Rouge, which won't have done him any favours whatsoever. So he's nursing that car at the moment. Might think about pitting at some point. Yeah, so, all right, let's take a little look at lap times then. Good suggestion by Mr. Hudson in the YouTube chat. If anyone else is in YouTube chat, let us know. Also, time for Driver of the Day votes, okay? So if you want to vote for a Driver of the Day to get a point, just write their name in chat, whether you're on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, and then we'll count that towards them. The winning driver will get a point. So, Canberra's fastest lap is a 2:18.0 so far. Last lap was a 2:18.4, and he's about to do something similar again. I'll just wait until he crosses the line. It updates a little bit after on your screens, but you should see that now. So 2:18.4, 2:18.5 is his sort of pace. And then if we go to Christy, where's Chrissy? There he is. I'm just waiting to see what he does. He has done a 2:18.2, which is only 2 tenths off Canberra's fastest, but his last lap was a 2:19.4, so he's lost a second and about a second in that lap, but about almost a second and a half slower than where he needs to be. So not sure if that was some incidents. I know Chrissy had a little bit of pressure earlier on from the other guys, but Canberra just seems to come into a rhythm all of his own. What we should remember as well is Canberra was actually going faster in qualifying, but then dropped it onto the gravel and didn't actually get to finish that lap. So
the commentator cursed him again.
Yeah. Well, let's ride on board with Canberra, shall we?
Yeah.
And see what he's doing.
A bit bias going on there, Rob?
Maybe not that I want the InGear Motorsport car to win too much, or do I? Yes, of course I do. I mean, actually, look at that. He's 1.9 down, 2 seconds down. He's just lost. So you can't see it, but when we switch it to Canberra in the game, you'll see he is 2 seconds down from his best lap. So that will have given Chrissy Palmer a little bit of hope. Bjorkman will be pleased because he's currently in 4th off the podium, but Graham is yet to serve his drive-through penalty, which, as we said, is not fun around this track at all. There's not 1 but 2 pit lanes to drive through before you can get back out on the track again. It feels like the longest thing in the world, doesn't it? A drive-through penalty.
Have
you ever had one?
No.
No, I think I had one somewhere.
An angel. Sorry for jumping in there. I'm wondering whether Canberra has set his car up slightly differently, and is going to start to back off the pace a little bit, not intentionally, but it's going to start to fight the car and start struggling, because you can see him it doesn't look quite as smooth as what it was before. He's running quite wide through some corners. Chrissy almost needs to be banking on that happening and banging some fast laps now to put himself in with a chance, doesn't he? You know, he's 4 seconds down. We've still got 11 minutes to go. If they're fluctuating a second a lap between the two of them, if Chrissy can just be consistently fast, so consistently putting in those 2:18s, you know, and Canberra sort of in the 2:19s, that sort of pulls the top two back together a little bit, doesn't it? And it could actually put Bjorkman in the mix as well. So I wouldn't say this is necessarily fully over yet.
No, it's not a done deal. I mean, we're not much over half race distance, so.
I mean, that puts Stallman into the mix as well.
Yeah, it can all change so quickly. When you're only talking 5-10 second gaps, you know, you still can't make a mistake there. Not a big one anyway. We've just seen Canberra get away with a 2-second loss. You can just see dancing with the wheel that little bit more, isn't he? Trying to hang on to it and keep the car in place. Like you say, just sliding a bit more, and again that through there, a bit of opposite lock. Yeah. Definitely struggling that little bit, I think.
Yeah, I definitely think that's to be continued for sure.
Well, good stuff. We'll probably have to go and take a bit of a look. I'm almost just waiting for something to happen before we move on.
And the things as well, this is such a long lap, and the splits and the timings updates, so you can't get such a good gauge. But if we leave it here for now, we'll go and check in some other guys. Chrissy Palmer's currently 4.2 off, and as I say that, it's just about to refresh, so maybe let's give it
yeah, it's about 4.
Yeah, it's 4. So he's clawed a little bit of time, and nothing too dramatic, but clawed a little bit. So
who's close on the track then?
Yeah.
J. Joe is just behind Dominic Stallman, so we could just have a little look and see what's going on there. And he's obviously not far behind Bjorkman. So, like you say, this could all kick off as well. It only takes a little mess up from Bjorkman, and then Stallman's on him, and then Joe's on him. And then even then, a couple seconds back is Ranger. So there's a load of them all together for this final podium spot. So the first two Ferraris have definitely got the edge on this this race so far. But yeah, third place is definitely well up for grabs.
And I mean, and bearing in mind as well, currently this is the, albeit it's only been one race, the leader of the championship and second place in the championship. So we could, as Bjorkman runs a little bit wide.
As we said it. So you can see Dominic Stallman in the white Porsche alongside the black Lexus of the Spearhead racing car. Thinks better of it, but they were nearly about to go two abreast through Eau Rouge then.
Well recovered by Bjorkman there. He just pulled something out of the bag a little bit then, didn't he?
I think he had a boost button or
yeah,
something.
I don't know what just happened there, but yeah.
It is very fast in a straight line, that Lexus. Wow, yeah, I thought that was about to be a serious bit of two cars for Eau Rouge, but yeah, Dominic Stallman's definitely got a whiff of third place there, hasn't he? And don't forget, as you say, because they are first and second in the championship, that is a good incentive for Dom to try and get some points back against Robert Bjorkman.
But it's also a good incentive to not do anything stupid and end up with no points. So it's risk management at this point, if you wanted to look at it sensibly.
Yeah, it's you know, that's where in the head of a driver that's really thinking about it and really doing well, they're thinking about all of this stuff and hitting the apexes and the braking points and managing the car that's in their mirrors.
And probably got someone talking to them at an inconvenient time on the radio.
Yeah, especially if you're in our Discord. Look at that, centimetres between the bumpers of these cars as we come into the final sector of the lap.
Can we jump on rear?
Final half of the lap.
Rear view cam Bjorkman, just
I love
to
that
demonstrate.
camera shot, though. But yeah.
Yeah, just to demonstrate how close Stallman actually is getting. I mean, that was close, wasn't it?
Yeah. Both these drivers running ballast then, 15 kilograms for the car we're riding on board with Bjorkman, and then the white Porsche behind has 10 kilograms of ballast. Just to help even it out a little bit, the cars that do well in the first race get a little bit of ballast for the second race. Definitely, I think, just slow them down a tiny bit because they're lapping in the 219s at the moment. Bjorkman hasn't even been able to get under that 219 mark, but was mid 218s in the race before.
Yeah, and
really good on the race there.
Ian's just been having a little look on the, I'm going to call it the EPRT website, which Canberra is on, and he is Swiss. He's back on 218s, which shows here. Chrissy has actually just managed to claw in a couple of tenths off, so he's 3.9 seconds off of Canberra now, but again, still not enough to make a dent, and you know, time's ticking now. We've got 6 minutes left.
Yeah.
2.5, 3 laps.
That was a great shot there, just to see how close Bjorkman got to the wall, as Dom has to go a little bit over the extra bit of tarmac that they've got for Eau Rouge there. And look, I think he's just closing a little bit. It's hard to tell, isn't it? Maybe a mile an hour in it. He's definitely a bit stronger on the brakes in the Porsche. You can just see braking zones, he takes it out of him, but the Lexus has got slightly more grunt on the way out of the bends. And then behind that, you've got Joe in the Lamborghini and Ranger in the Lamborghini, the two sort of dark black coloured Lamborghinis we saw earlier. Schmidtline is back in 7th. Bedoya's up into 8th now, which is a great job for him. Again, someone else who's entered our championship and is racing for points. Points go down to 10th place, by the way. Have we had any driver of the day votes yet, folks? If you're watching and you have a driver that you like or you think's done particularly well tonight, then you can give them a driver of the day vote. And then the driver with the most points, even if it is just one little vote from somebody somewhere, then gets an extra championship point. So they'll be forever grateful for you. You never know how close it's going to get. I mean, certainly there's a lot of fast drivers in this, so that point may well make all the difference for them.
Yeah, this is not going to be a championship that's going to get wrapped up in the first couple of rounds, that's for sure.
I'm just looking, Curran is currently out of the points. Matt, the other Spearhead driver's out of the points.
Yeah, Stallman is as well.
Roland's out of the points. So this is where it's a bit of a shame for Chrissy, because he's the only InGear Motorsport car. Where he finished out of the points in race 1, there was no points for the team. Whereas for the other guys, another car still finished while they had a bad one. Just looking at Curran, actually, that's quite a good battle. But so is Stallman. Still looking at Bjorkman. We're going to probably have to just jump back to that, aren't we? Well, I know we're still on that. We have to keep looking at that. Oh, Bjorkman goes a bit deep into the chicane. This could be the opportunity for Dominic Stallman to get past. Oh, it gets a little clip from Joe in the Lamborghini, who wants to have a bit of a join in there as well. So I think that might just make it a bit harder for him.
I think that would have been his without that little clip there.
Someone's got a drive-through, car 200.
Curran.
Curran, yeah. Curran's pushing a bit too hard there back in P12 at the moment.
It's been definitely more drive-throughs in this race than there has in last.
Ooh, that Porsche looked very, very loose through a Rouge. You can see he's lost a couple of car lengths just where he was going sideways and not forwards through a Rouge there. If you've never had the luxury of going through that, I mean, in a game you get a bit of an idea of the height of it, but in the real world, it's like climbing 3 stories.
And the rest.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's nuts.
Hence what we were saying earlier, that it's a cliche thing to say that Spa is one of the best tracks in the world as a driver, but it actually genuinely is. When you go through it, it's amazing.
I think it's just, as a track, it's kind of got everything that you'd want out of a circuit on it, hasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, Bjorkman goes wide again, and is now going to have to cover as we come into the double left-hander here.
These two are pushing each other so hard that they're actually pushing each other into mistakes, and you never ever see Stallman really make a mistake, do you? And Bjorkman, in all fairness.
No, not too many. It does happen from time to time, including in our practice race last week. Oh, Warren Heath's got a vote in there for Kirk Heath for driver of the day. Well done. Thank you very much. So far, that is Heath's point. All you have to do to vote, everyone, is just literally comment the driver's name in a chat box, whether you're on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. You can vote for the driver of your choice.
If you, on your screen, Mackenzie, just put it up, let's actually just see where Heath is. So Danny Price is all the way back in. He's out, isn't he?
He's a lap down, so maybe he was running, to be fair to him, not long ago, so he might still be going.
That accident at El Rouge probably really hurt him.
Curran's got his drive through, and then DL's also got a drive through, and then we saw Graham serve his drive through.
So that's going to bump Heath up a couple of paces, isn't it?
Billingham is in 16th, sorry about that, and Sheldon, the other Astronia driver in the Aston Martin, is in 22nd as well, just to sort of give an idea of where people are, whoever's watching.
Oh, this is interesting. So George gone for Bjorkman, Ian's gone for Stallman for driver of the day, and then we've got one for Heath as well for driver of the day. So it's a three-way
tie at the minute.
Three-way tie. Yeah.
So we have to have a clear winner to give the points. So we need an extra vote for one of those drivers, or 2 for somebody else, for somebody to get the point. But yeah, cool. Thanks for voting. Keep them coming, everyone, on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. Another drive-through. Oh no, that's just a reminder. It's not been served yet for Curran. I'm so scared to leave this battle for third.
I think we should though. We can
seeing where the gaps are at the moment. Graham is really close to Heath. Oh, as Bjorkman goes a bit wide again. Look at that. Come really close. That was a great camera angle just to see the Porsche. Mid-corner, if a car slows down that much and you're trying to stop, you can only do so much. Yeah, Bjorkman must be coming close to a drive-through himself. We've seen him go off twice now.
I think Stallman will be as well.
For Eau Rouge, you sometimes get away with it at the top, or Radion. You sometimes get away with it, but it's hard, yeah.
That Porsche's...
I think Dom might have a bit more wing on or something, because when they go down the long Kemmel straight, Bjorkman just always seems to pull enough of a gap that Dom can't do anything, and that's a really good place to overtake. It's either that or when Bjorkman runs wide one of these times. I mean, even there, he's going over the white line.
I think there's a big enough gap at the moment that...
Yeah, let's drop to Heath.
Nothing's going to happen. So let's drop down to Heath.
Murray up into 11th, by the way, just to call that one out. He's doing well there. Potentially going to score points again. Leaders on the last lap. Where did that come from?
I know, it's gone really quick.
Right, so there is Kirk Heath and the Aston Martin on your screens, and Graham has passed him and pulled 3 seconds out on him. So we missed whatever that one was going to be, but we had to do
race for Heath. I think it's been a bit of a less dramatic one for Heath, though. I think the first race was a bit full on, wasn't it? He was involved in some of the drama, but yeah. If we can then go back up to...
let's just follow the Bjorkman and Stallman battle, I think. Right at the last second, we'll jump to Camber crossing the line. Chrissy's still 5 seconds out, so I don't think it's going to happen there. As Stallman... I thought he was going to get the run there.
So we've got another driver of the day vote by Lisa for car number 44.
That's Billingham.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So we've got a vote for Billingham, Bjorkman, Stallman, and Heath.
Yeah.
So we need another vote for one of those drivers to get the point. So if you're there, people, and you want to get a point for those for your driver, get someone else to come on and vote. They just have to type their name, they can go again. They don't have to watch and listen to me ramble away, that's fine, but they can come on and vote. Yeah, no, well spotted there. Right. So this battle rages on between the Spearhead Race Engineering car, and the white Porsche that loses the rear end there. You didn't quite see that, I don't think. It was just in the back of shot. But as they go through, you can see the gaps just increase because Stallman lost the rear end a little bit. And lost
that's
that
actually
gap.
given Jojo. It
might be Jojo.
Could be Jojo. Love that.
Let's go and see.
A little bit of an opportunity there, and is on the back of Stallman now. So Stallman's in quite a difficult position here because he wants to overtake, but he also needs to stop himself from being overtaken. Not easy in the closing stages of half an hour around Spa. I think there's enough of a gap at the moment, though. Shall we put the camera onto Camber for the final stages of this race?
Yeah. Yeah, good plan. Good plan. So we'll go over to Camber. I've just seen that Sharman has voted over on Facebook, but for whatever reason that didn't come through for us. But I can see it now, so that's fine. And Camber then joins and wins the second race of the GT3 Euro Series, leaving Chrissy Palmer to have to settle for second place in the orange Ferrari there, coming across the line. 5 seconds behind the race leader, but then Bjorkman hangs on to third, didn't crumble under the pressure of Dominic Stallman, but very, very nearly did on a number of occasions there. That was a real close end. Good fight by them too as well. It's easier than it looks to run that close to another car in a virtual world where, you know, you're only talking milliseconds of difference or latency between server and driver, but it's enough that when you hit a braking zone at 150 miles an hour and the guy behind hits the braking zone, you need to kind of be accounting for things like that to not hit each other. So they've done really well.
Okay, so driver of the day, we've actually got one. So we've got, I'm just counting them up now. We've got 1 for Stallman, 2 for Bingham, 2 for Bjorkman, and then Warren put in another vote anyway.
So Heath gets it anyway because of Liam on Facebook and
no, so
Heath
it's
Senior.
2 and 2. Bjorkman's got 2, Heath's got 2, and Billingham's got 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Who gave Bjorkman the second vote?
George and Sharman.
Oh, Sharman voted for Bjorkman. So in that case, Heath has only got 1 because Warren can't vote twice. So it does go to Bjorkman then?
No, because then Billingham's got 2. So
who was Billingham's second one? So I saw, was it Lisa voted for him?
And
oh, the music one. Oh, so it's a tie.
Is that his own YouTube though?
I don't know. I don't mind.
He voted for himself.
Well, he was racing, so maybe he's got someone on hand doing it, which is, you know, that's all part of it.
Oh, and we just got another one from Kaylee for Bingham as well. So
okay, Billingham does get it. Well done, family of Billingham. You've got him a vote.
I love that.
That's it. Well, that definitely takes it for him that way. Then he's got an extra one right.
Keeps him in the championship, keeps it alive.
Gives him a point.
Gives him a point. So yeah.
To be fair, that will then there's a number of drivers that didn't score any points. So him getting that one driver of the day vote is going to bump him up something like probably 7 or 8 places for the time being in the standings. So yeah, no, good effort.
Cool. Are we gonna
go through the grid order?
Go for the grid order. Are we going to pull anyone up for a quick post-race chat?
Yeah, we will in a minute. I think let's just go through full finishing grid there. Let me just get it up so I can actually see it on my commentary screen because it's not always the easiest thing in the world. Wonderful. So at the end of all of that, Camber did hang on to the win. Chrissy Palmer couldn't close the gap, although he was a bit faster in periods of that race, just not enough consistently. Camber just eventually found another gear from about 4 or 5 laps onwards and pulled away. Bjorkman ended up coming in third. Graham was running third and then had that drive-through penalty, which promoted Bjorkman up into third. Stallman obviously was trying to battle, couldn't get through. Joe in fifth in the Lamborghini, and then Ranger also in the Lamborghini. So quite a few Italian cars in the top 6, actually, which is nice to see. Schmidtlein in 7th, Bedoya in 8th, Pertzkoll in 9th, Chartonia in 10th, Roland Stallman came in 11th there. So that is, well, top 10 of the points finishers, and then we just pick out the main guys that are entered in the championship. Heath in 15th, so a bit better than the first race, but still had a little bit of a issue there. And then we've got Curran in 18th, rounding out the main part of the grid there as well. So I think Danny Price was in there. I don't know if I've missed his name off. Maybe he finished near the end, but I know he was having a bit of a disaster. Everything okay, Mr. Race Director? I could hear you talking in the background there.
Yeah, no, it's just because I can't hear him, so I'm just reconnecting to see what's going on.
Cool. Well, that was not too bad, was it, for an opening couple of races? Let us know what you thought of that in the chat, folks. We're going to have a quick chat with. Might see if Chrissy sticks around and find out what he thought of that.
Yep, I thought it was. Sorry, I was just making sure that Ben could hear me and vice versa. It's all going on. Yeah, I mean, what an opening 2 races to the series. The championship is very much alive, both from a driver point of view, but also a team point of view. So super excited for that. Super excited for the next track. I'm not going to lie, I totally have forgotten what the next track is. So feel free to remind me.
So the next track is Paul Ricard, which we've actually had some good races at before.
Hello, track limits.
Oh yeah, that is a big one for track limits, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we've had 4 or 5 drive-throughs at Spa, then Paul Ricard's definitely going to throw a few up for sure.
Yeah.
So that'll be on the 23rd of February.
Oh, will it be now?
What's happening on that day?
Okay, we can have my party hat on.
No, it's fine. We might be able to figure something out for that.
No,
which is Charlotte's birthday. So if you see us, then make sure you say happy birthday.
I might just have a Prosecco.
She might be talking even more than normal on that night. Who knows? And then, so the 9th of March is the penultimate race at Hungaroring. And then we've got 23rd of March is a 90-minute race at Catalunya. So I always really like those 90-minute ones because the drivers have to do a pit stop. It just throws another element into the mix, something else that could go wrong or could go right, just shakes the grid up a bit, kind of 45 minutes in when they all start pitting. So that's cool. But yeah, good, strong opening round. I think that will be Spearhead Racing or Spearhead Race Engineering that are currently leading the team standings as their debut race, which is really, really good stuff. So although Matt didn't have the best race in race 2 with that incident, still as a team, part of the winning team and a strong pace from him. So good debut from him. Shane, I believe, finished the second race, and I didn't quite catch up in the first race for Estonia Racing. Billingham's back as well. Got the driver of the day point there, so well done for rallying the troops. So I think, lots of exciting stuff to talk about there. Anything else for you to add on, or shall I bring Chrissy up for a chat?
Yeah, no, I'm all good. I think, like I say, there was a lot going on. It's hard to keep up with it. I mean, I think we need like 3 different streams going on to follow the drivers. But yeah, no, awesome.
Cool. Right, let's chat to Chrissy then. Chrissy Palmer, are you there? Oh no, don't leave me hanging. I've moved him in the background to our commentary box, but I'm just going to see if he appears or not. I mean, it's a long 30 minutes. Maybe he had to quickly run off to the little boys' room for a minute. Who knows?
Yeah, I would drop him down.
All right, no Chrissy Palmer, everyone.
Took the hint there, didn't we?
Trying to think who we've got. Curran, we've got Jeff Badgers, we've got Dom. Yeah, cool. Let's talk to Dom. Mr. Stallman, are you there?
All right, big man.
Well, welcome to Commentary Box. We went to speak to Chrissy and he just completely ignored us. So I'm pleased you're here. You didn't leave us hanging. How was that race for you? It was pretty good at the end. We were watching most of your battle with Bjorkman.
I'm sweating, but yeah, it was really good, really fair, and great fun.
Cool. What do you think about the championship now? Then with the Spearhead guys, they seem pretty fast tonight. How do you think it looks for the rest of the following races?
Well, there are tracks coming with more corners, where not so much top speed is needed, and I hope we have a better position there.
Yeah, we were saying the Porsche definitely lacks a bit of top end speed compared to the Lexus. I think otherwise you might have been able to get past at the end of Kemmel Straight or something, but it definitely looked a challenge. Did you think you could have made a move, or was it just not going to happen?
Well, I was waiting for a mistake, but he was really consistent. He makes almost no mistakes. I saw him.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I have one last question for you, and then I'll let you go because I know you're hot and sweaty after that. Did you have any track limit warnings through Eau Rouge by any chance?
Yes.
Yeah, good man. That's a sign that you're trying hard, though, isn't it? So that's good.
That happens.
Cool. All right, Dom. Yeah, thanks for sort of agreeing to come up earlier on when I messaged you. We don't really obviously interview you that often, but yeah, good to chat, and I'll speak to you soon anyway. But I'll put you back down with the guys.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Thanks. Speak to you in a bit. Bye. Right, there we are. So he did have track limit warnings. You're right though, Paul Ricard's going to be fun for that one.
Now Dom knows what it feels like for everyone else that's been trying to overtake him in all the other championships where it doesn't make mistakes. Yeah. It's really hard. So yeah, that was good.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we'll call that a wrap, everyone. Because after a few server resets and stuff, we're actually probably a bit later than we normally are, which yeah, a bit of a change, but still good stuff tonight. Hope everyone enjoyed that watched. Thank you for commenting, liking, and sharing, and everything that everyone's got involved on across Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We put out some of the highlights on Instagram, as Charlotte was saying earlier, so you can go and follow us at InGear Motorsport on Instagram and find some of those replays and stuff as well. But I think that's about it from my side. Anything from you?
Oh, good. I'm potentially going to be another year older when we next do this. So,
yeah. Well, I don't know about potentially.
Well, yeah.
We'll
I will be. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks very much, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Ben and George in the background. Thank you, Charlotte, for joining me in commentary box. And we will see you at the next race in 2 weeks' time.
Ain't shitty, baby, I'm hot, light up a radical sun.
There we go, green lights, and we're off once again.
Is gone. Big up at the leany, meeny, money, mo, and flower. You're the chosen one.